podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This episode originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, July 9th, 2022. This is episode 1909. Enjoy.
Thanks, Micah. Nice job. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Cisco Meraki, with employees working in different locations, providing a unified work experience. Seems as easy as herding cats. How do you rein in so many moving parts? Well, the Meraki Cloud Managed Network. Learn how your organization can make hybrid work work. Visit meraki.cisco.com/twit. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number if you want to talk high tech. I'm here for you. So is Micah Sargent, Tech Guy too. And you know what? Next week, you're on your own, dude. So you better be ready.
I've been stretching. I've been doing my vocal warm-ups.
Good.
I've been looking
Mommy
at
made me match my M&Ms.
devices with chips in them. Yeah.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Red leather, yellow leather.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going away. We're going on a cruise. We've been talking about this for a year. I thought by now COVID will be all gone, be safe to go on a cruise. Well, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. The cruise line, Holland America, is saying we have to wear masks while on board at all time. Yeah.
What about when you're sleeping?
Everybody's got to be vaccinated, proof of vaccination, and tested before they get on board, and wear a mask. So I think it'll be safe.
It sounds like a delight.
Delight.
Yeah.
Those polar bears are going to look at me go, what the heck?
You'll just have a snout like them.
Actually, they're, Lisa was saying, we're going to see polar bears, and I had to tell her, no, I'm sorry, there are no polar bears in Alaska.
Because they're at the South Pole?
I don't know where they are. They're not here. They're grizzlies.
Wherever they are, they're not there.
Brown bears.
Gotcha.
But we will see bears. This is, we're taking about 100 people, podcast fans, Tech Guy fans. I've been plugging it for a year. If you said, well, wait a minute, I didn't hear about this. It's too late. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. There are probably a few people going, yeah, maybe I won't go on that cruise this week. But I'm going unless you know what my fear is?
What is your fear?
I get it in the hotel in Seattle, and I have to stand on the pier, watch people sailing away.
Oh, that would be heartbreaking.
Wouldn't that be terrible? Anyway, that's going to be fun. We're going to do a cruise to Alaska with 100 Twit fans.
Twit's your closest friend.
Twit's the podcast network. So that's why I won't be here next Saturday or Sunday, but I will be back the following Sunday.
Yes, but not Saturday.
But not Saturday. You're going to do 2 in a row.
Yeah.
You crazy man. You know what else is crazy? I bet you can guess.
I bet you're going to say
Elon Musk. Crazy like a fox. Elon has announced, what a shock, that he's going to back out of the Twitter deal. What a shock.
Never would have guessed.
Never would have thought that. In fact, I said right at the beginning, oh, he's not serious about this. He was much more serious than I thought he was. Raised about half the money through bank loans, $21 million of his own money. Well, it isn't his own money because he then went out to hands out to friends. Said, can you give me some money for Twitter? Man, I need some money, man, to buy some Twitter. You got any money, man? He also borrowed against his Tesla stock a 20% margin. And I think that might be some of the reasons he's pulling out, because he might be going, my Tesla stock is tanking.
Yeah, it's not doing so hot.
It's tanking, which means he has to put up 20% of whatever to get the whatever million. It's billions. It's crazy.
Honestly, none of it makes any sense to me.
It's high finance, except that it's also low comedy. Twitter says, not so fast. Now, remember, there's $1 billion breakup fee. But no. Twitter says, we're not talking about the breakup fee. We think that Elon has agreed, and he hasn't come up with any material reason for pulling out, and so he's bound by the agreement. Twitter says, we're going to sue him and I love this, in Delaware it's called the Chancery Court, because Twitter is a Delaware corporation. Did you know so is Twit?
I was going to say most companies are, aren't they?
You know, when I formed the LLC back in 2004 or 5, I guess it was 5, I didn't know any better. So I asked my friend Kevin Rose, who happened to be an early investor in Twitter, of all things. He said, well, if you want to be acquired, it's easier if you're a Delaware corporation. I said, okay, fine. Doesn't matter to me. You still have to pay corporate tax in California. Didn't get you off the hook in California. That's the rules that you're anyway. And I always thought the rules are kind of more favorable to corporations, and I guess they are. In this case, the corporation being Twitter. Mm-hmm. Twitter. So the chairman of the board of Twitter, Brett Taylor, tweeted. Of course, this is all happening in tweets, isn't it? This is one of the things I hate about Twitter, is that suddenly all these important things, nope, we don't do press releases anymore. We just tweet about it. Brett Taylor tweets, quote, "The Twitter board is committed to closing the transaction on the price and terms agreed upon with Mr. Musk and plans to pursue legal action to enforce the merger agreement. We are confident we will prevail in the Delaware Court of Chancery."
Now tell me, why would a company want someone owning them who doesn't want to own them and is doing everything they can to now not own them? Why would you want to go through with that?
Very easy calculation you can make if you go right now and you look at the stock price of Twitter, which is, I think, around $39, $36.81. If you look at that stock price, and then you look at what Elon said he would pay for it, which is $54.20.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why.
There you go.
That's why. Now, you might want to get out of it if you thought that Twitter stock was going to go above $54.20. In fact, it was, I think, last year as high as 78. But I don't. Yeah, no. But here's the thing, and I'd be very angry if I'm Twitter. And I think there's some of this is anger. Apparently, the CEO of Twitter, Agrawal, is going up and down the halls screaming at the top of his lungs. That's the inside sources.
Scuttlebutt.
He's really upset. This has made a mess of Twitter's business, regardless. You know, and I think that they want more than the $1 billion breakup fee. They want all of it, because he said he'd pay all of it, and they made him promise that he wouldn't disparage Twitter on Twitter, and he did. They made him. He said, "Oh, I don't need to do any due diligence. I don't care." But then he said, "Well, wait a minute. Now you've been saying there's 5% of Twitter is spam bots. 5%, not real. I think it's more than that." And that's, by the way, why he wants to get out of it, because he thinks. He didn't provide any evidence, but he just thinks it's more than that. He said, "Twitter, you didn't give me the information I need." They gave him every tweet, 500 million tweets a day. They gave him all of them. Said, "Well, you figure it out. If you're not happy with our methodology, here."
And I guess if I'm an advertiser, which is how Twitter makes money, one of a couple of ways, then I'm going, "Oh, I hear that there might be more spam bots on there, and you're charging us this amount of money."
It's bad for business.
Yeah, it's
really bad for business. I mean, it's tanked their stock price. So, yeah, Twitter was, I mean, it's just, it's ugly. It's a mess. It's why very, very rich people act in this country with impunity. And he'll probably get away with it. I mean, yeah, they're going to go to court. This will go on for a decade. And, he's gotten away with all sorts of stuff all this time. I don't know. Anyway. It's you know what? It's great soap opera. It's great drama.
Right.
For us.
But I feel for the people who work at Twitter who are going, what is my future here?
Well, that's another complaint Elon said. Executives are leaving and people are quitting. Well, Twitter doesn't have any control over that. That's not a material, whatever, what do they call it? MAR. A material event that's going to change the value of the company. That's what happens. Is how it's normal course of business. People come and go. It fired a few executives. It canceled some offers, but these are minor, and so legal experts say, well, the courts aren't going to go along with that. We'll see. Don't you? I mean, I confess. I feel bad, but I confess. I'm an honest guy. I confessed that when the Bitcoin prices went down, I kind of had a little schadenfreude, a little guilty pleasure in the even though, a lot of people who lost money on Bitcoin couldn't afford to. Mm-hmm. I confess I a little schadenfreude with Mr. Musk. Like, you deserve this, buddy.
Yeah.
He did it with his own company, Tesla. Remember, he tweeted and got in big trouble with
the SEC, right?
Securities and Exchange Commission.
But did it do anything really?
Well, he got a $20 million fine, which for somebody worth almost $200 billion is less than a pack of small fries at McDonald's, that percentage. So, it didn't do anything. Obviously, it didn't chasten Mr. Musk.
He's become worse, frankly.
Somebody's in the chat room saying, funny how Elon was a saint until he became a Democrat. I don't think Elon's a Democrat. I hate to say, I hate to give you the bad news.
No, that guy's not a Democrat.
No Democrat. I don't know what he is. He's a nut job. He's a billionaire. And
he's a billionaire.
I think we're in danger in this country, I'll be honest, of being run by oligarchs. That's what an oligarchy is a country that is run not by its elected officials, but by the very, very rich who, in effect, make the laws. And I fear we're getting in that oligarchic realm. The land of the oligarchs. Anyway, that's the latest. You signed in here to find out what the latest is. Now you know. That's the latest. Did she say the words long distance? Was that? Holy cow, we're stretching now. We're trying to find.
Oh, is that a bad word?
Laura says there was the word operator was in there, but it was too many sentences, so she cut it out.
You got me with that one. Sounds very 80s, though.
I like it.
Very
I like
poppy.
it. Who is that singing? Do you know? Oh, Sheena E.
Oh.
No, that's not Sheena E.
No,
that's Sheena
that's
Easton.
Not Sheila E. Who was just at the Marin County Fair the other day.
I went to the Marin County Fair.
I didn't see you.
I left immediately. I felt like it was not a safe place. Honestly.
Oh.
It was extraordinarily crowded.
What day did you go?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. So you went after the show last Saturday.
I did.
Oh, okay.
We were all planning to have fair food and see some fireworks. And
you drove all the way down there and turned around and left?
You noped out.
$15 for parking.
20.
20.
And another 25 to get in?
Paid to get in.
Oh,
but I'm a senior, so it was only 20 for me. So I got that going for me.
I should have told you.
And then we got there, and it's like, well, first of all, it's dusty. There's about 1 billion people. At least half of them must have COVID. And the metal detectors. There were no metal detectors.
Oh, no, we don't do that in Marin. We don't need that because, we live in a bubble. We're safe until we're not.
I felt like it wasn't the safest spot in the world, so I abandoned ship.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
double-edged sword.
Lisa looks at me. It's good. This is good when your wife and you have this relationship, and you'll never know this because you'll never have a wife. But
you don't know.
Maybe you will. I don't know.
You don't know.
You might. When your wife looks at you and you look at her, and you both go, nuh-uh. It's good. That means you're on the same wavelength. So we just left. Yeah, it's okay. We went to Maya de Palenque. Had a delicious Mexican feast and went home. And that was that. And we watched the laser light show, the Petaluma laser light show, which we couldn't see. So all in all, 4th of July was a bust. Did you get fireworks?
Oh, yeah, because I live right next to that fair.
So you even have to go there.
Whether I'm there or not,
look out the window.
Usually see it from wherever I am.
Good. So happy day after 4th of July.
Or week.
Week after. I don't know what day it is. Are you asking me? I don't know. Who should I start the show with?
Let's go to Franco in Louisville, Texas.
Okay. Hello,
You're
Franco.
Spend some money.
Thank you, Kim. Hello,
Hey,
Franco.
Leo.
Hello, Louisville. Welcome.
Hey, hi, Leo. Hi, Micah. How you doing today?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. Hey, I just heard Scott's not going to be here, and I had a question about Projector, so I'm going to have to tap into your guys' knowledge on.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. but I've been listening to Scott for years. I might be able to channel him.
There you go. So I know you like spending other people's money, and I like spending other people's money too. So let's spend some money my company's paying for.
Oh, even better.
Even better.
So is this a projector for home theater, for TV, or is it for business?
Well, it's supposed to be for a business. Basically, it's for teaching some classes.
So we call these PowerPoint projectors, which is silly, as opposed to cinema projectors. And there's very different needs, obviously. Although any projector can play a movie, Beck. Is it in a school or?
It's going to be like we rent out a hotel. Like I guess.
So it's.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because it's going to be far away from the screen. It sounds like.
Sort of. Well, it's going to be probably about 15 feet away from the screen.
Oh, that's not terrible. And then you're going to be able to darken the room.
Yes. Not 100. Well, it depends. Sometimes we have rooms with windows. Sometimes we have rooms with no windows.
So you need a pretty bright projector.
Exactly.
That can go 15 feet. I think there are quite a few good choices in there. I'm going to refer you, though, because I haven't tried them all.
Yeah.
Have you tried them all, Micah? Have you tried all the PowerPoint projectors?
Sadly, I have not tried all the PowerPoint projectors.
Okay. So I'm going to refer you. Go ahead.
I don't specifically want a PowerPoint projector because I'm trying to be a little sneaky, and since we only use it 2 times a month.
Oh, you're going to take it home.
This is going.
Well, the company I work for is based out of California. I'm basically
So it's yours. Yeah, I get it.
I would store it in my house.
What's the budget from the company?
He said less than $3,000.
Oh, you're in good shape.
Exactly. I know. I've been looking around, and $3,000 buys a very good projector.
So, David Stone, who is very trustworthy at PC Magazine, has reviewed the best projectors for 2022. And, one of his overall best home theater projectors is, and I would agree with this, the Epson Pro Cinema. But, and then he talks about short throw, which may actually be of interest to you. I have a short throw projector at home from Hisense. That means you put it right next to the screen, which means you also have to have a special screen. Most of these come with screens. But I'm going to say the best thing to do is probably go, if you want to get one that can do both, is go look at this review. We'll put a link in the show notes because that's pretty complete. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys. Epson makes excellent projectors. You could never go wrong with them.
Right.
In fact, they're 3 out of the 4 PC Magazine editors' choices, or 5 actually, are those.
Now, do the short throws require extra time to set up, or is it just...
No, in fact, they kind of do. Maybe short throw isn't the best idea. It's more for a home where you can put it and leave it, right?
Well, more likely, I don't have room in my house, but I have room in my backyard to project the house for like summer.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Because I also have a PA system to go with this for the speakers to be able to, have their voice amplified during the lectures and the class.
Nice.
So I have a whole setup. All I need is to basically maybe buy a screen for myself.
Yeah.
But okay, I will look.
So
at that.
in the past, my recommendations have been the well-known names like ViewSonic. Epson, of course, is always good for the cinemas. I really think they're really good. Anchor now makes some portables, but I think they're kind of the low end, not so great. Don't be fooled by 4K. In fact, the only 4K I'm seeing on this is a $5,000 Epson Pro Cinema. A lot of them say 4K, but they simulate it more. And I know Scott has always said that. What are some other... Optima has been around for a long time. There are a couple of companies that do the PowerPoint projectors and been doing it for a long time. But I think I understand what you want. You want really a multi-purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because they also show videos during presentations.
So there's your excuse. It's it's got to look good on the videos. I know Scott and I both recommend DLP. You can get LCDs, but DLPs tend to be accurate, bright, without LCDs. I see PC Magazine for $37.49, right there.
Yeah.
Recommending the Epson Epic Vision Ultra, which is a 4K UHD laser projection. Laser's the best.
Yes.
And so you can get that for under $4,000. You can get laser, and that's going to give you maximal brightness as well. So
that's exactly what.
Yeah, this might be the one to. Oh, it's an ultra short throw. Never mind. Never mind. So DLP is going to be cheaper. Laser's going to be better. I don't know if you can do laser in your price point. Maybe you can. I mean, this Epson is under $4,000. So. Right.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. I'll do a little bit more research before I pull the
I think
trigger
that's pretty much what Scott would say. Neither of us have a lot of experience with these kind of PowerPoint projectors. I have experience, as does Scott, with TV cinema projectors.
Right.
The reason you want PowerPoints, you want, for instance, to have, well, I guess all computers have HDMI now, so that's not as big an issue. Yeah. You just want to make sure it has the interface to the computer. This is a good article, actually. It talks about LCD, DLP, LCOS, and laser, which are the 4 different technologies. They talk about portability. That's going to be pretty important to you, or yes or no?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'm going to it's going to be in a box most of the time, and every 3 months or so is when we have these presentation classes that we offer.
I think you're going to probably not want native 4K. You're going to get a 1080p that gets you kind of a 4K with pixel shifting. That's going to save you a lot of money.
Okay.
They'll take 4K in, but they don't present it. Hey, I got to run.
Okay.
Take care. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to talk high tech, or Elon. It's not really high tech, except it's Twitter. He's buying Twitter, but not. Oh, he's not buying. What is it? Which is it?
Yeah, exactly. Who knows?
Who knows? No one knows. No one.
The shadow
knows. The shadow knows. Exactly. Line 2 is Jody in Los Angeles. Hello, Jody.
Morning, Leo. Good to hear your voice again.
Nice to hear from you. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, I've been working most of the past couple of years on that new TV show, Our Flag Means Death, where we've been doing a lot of incredible virtual production with a big...
You've been working on that? I love that show.
That's incredible.
It's been crazy. They built an LED wall 160 feet across by 30 feet tall and built a life-size pirate ship on a gimbal in front of it.
What?
So this is Our Flag Means Death is a comedy, a pirate comedy with the wonderful Taika Waititi.
Yes.
What fun that must be. So they I thought it was British. They shoot it here.
They shot it at Warner Brothers here in L.A. in Burbank. And I don't know that it's been publicly announced where the second season is shooting yet, so I can't comment on that. But,
oh, yes. But let's put it this way. You're still working. That's what counts. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty well. So we were in Puerto Rico shooting the plates of the ocean and all that kind of stuff. And the guy who runs Stargate Studios, the company, has the Galaxy Z Fold 3, and it was just so great. Shooting. We didn't shoot the plates with that. We're shooting 12K multi-camera rigs and 6K cameras and a circle rig and all that.
Are these the plates you're going to end up putting on the LCD screen? Behind, yeah.
LED screen, actually.
LED, rather. I'm sorry.
The volume, it's the big virtual production volumes that you see used on Mandalorian is the best known of these.
So you have a pirate ship that's real, it's physical, it's a practical, it's on a gimbal.
Yeah.
Behind the pirate ship, you have pictures of the sea.
Sails move.
Yeah. And then, of course, as the cameras move, which is what's cool about these LED backdrops, they move to keep the perspective, which is unbelievable. We've seen them at CES. I saw Sony demonstrating these, and it's really how they shot The Mandalorian. I think it's transformed television production. And what do you do on this, Jody? Are you what's your job?
Well, I'm not on this show. I'm a director and a cinematographer and a writer. But this particular thing, I was working as a cameraman helping to shoot the plates, the visual effect plates.
Oh, so you got to go to Barbados or wherever. Nice.
Puerto Rico, yeah.
Puerto Rico, that's right, yeah.
It was great. Great fun. Getting paid to go there is always
How much footage do you have to shoot? Do you have to shoot an hour, 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
They wanted 5 minute long. They wanted to be able to shoot 5 minute long takes. So it's multiple cameras. It's comedy. They are doing a little bit of ad lib. So Taika just wanted to let's just be able to run cameras for a while and see what happens. Because normally, on an episodic TV or feature, we might a minute long take or 2 minutes.
You never do a 5 minute take. Yeah, that'd be crazy talk.
So we were shooting 5 minute long.
Wow.
And so after a week, we came back with 200 terabytes of data.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
It's 12K. Are you using? What do you shoot it with? You shoot with Aries or Blackmagic?
We were shooting with. We had 5 Blackmagic Design 12K cameras, and then we had 9 Blackmagic Design 6K camera, 6 Pocket Cinema 6K Pros, and a circle rig with one of them shooting up to get the sky. So we had a lot of stuff, and we shot sometimes with 1 camera, sometimes with 2, sometimes with 3, depending on what we needed exactly.
So you'd have to stitch the video together to give you more than just the view of the camera.
Yeah, you stitch all these together, and then when you're on a screen that size, it's wider than half of a football field. They're not shooting the entire thing; they're zooming. They're going to have a tighter shot of that, so they might only be seeing a 4K part of that screen in any one shot. But you've got to have that big 60K resolution all across from one end to the other, so that wherever they're shooting, however tight it may be, they still have enough resolution on that wall to make nice images that look real, and it definitely does.
So the director had a Galaxy Fold.
The head of Stargate Studios, it was with us. It's his company who did
the boss. Of course, the boss had a Fold. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had one, and I'm very jealous. I have the Galaxy S9 Plus, which is about 3 years old, and he loves it. And he was shooting stuff with it just to show the clients, and then to be able to have that real estate to open that up and show video and stuff that we shot on location and in demos of what we've done. It's just so great. So
that's a good argument for that, isn't it? Something he can carry in his
really
pocket.
Is.
Yeah,
it's not just convenience, but it really is something that works great. And we were at NAB this year and showed footage to a couple of CEOs of companies like Sigma Lenses that we used, and he'd never even seen the footage. So to be able to show that on something big as opposed to just a little phone was really handy. So anyway, I'm due for a new phone, and Best Buy should have mine in today. We ordered it, and
that's a shame because they're announcing the next one in about a month.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if I'm within 3 days if I could trade mine in for a new one.
So we don't know when the availability will be. The next Samsung Unpacked is August 10th.
Oh gosh!
And it's expected they will announce the Z Fold 4. The Z Flip 4, the Galaxy Watch 5 at this event. And there have been lots of rumors about the Fold 4. Do you want to get the Fold?
Yeah, the Fold 3 is what I've got ordered right now. I hadn't picked it up, so I guess, I can unring that bell. But if the Fold 4 is going to be pretty much the same thing but better, then maybe I ought to talk to them about hanging on a little bit.
Yeah, well, I could just tell you what the leaks are, because Samsung won't say anything specific until the 10th.
Sure.
The Fold 4 is going to. Let's see. I'll tell you what the tips are. It's been tipped to retain the same rear camera design. Okay, not the design you see on the S22 Ultra. It'll sport let's see, let it down. Okay, good news is, according to Tech Talk TV, whoever they are, 50 megapixel main camera. They say that's for sure, so I don't know what that means. So better camera. That seems likely. It seems like the screen is going to be very similar. Of course, it'll be a newer processor, the Snapdragon 8 Plus. I have heard them talking about the crease. Now, you may not have been bothered by the crease, but some people are, and they say the crease will be less visible. I don't know if that's going to be a deal breaker.
But, better is better.
Yeah. They get, I had the Samsung Galaxy Fold 2, and I had the 3, And they definitely improved the 3 over 2. They got better at the hinge design. You know, one of the problems with the originals were the crumbs would get in the hinge and break it. And so they really put a lot of attention to making that hinge a lot better. And I think I noticed that difference for sure. So I expect that on that level of improvement. It's not going to. So that's a really interesting conundrum. Can you wait it'll be more than a month because they'll announce it on the 10th. Maybe end of August you'd get it.
Yeah, well, I'm not in an urgent thing. I mean, my phone's working fine. So if it would make a lot of sense to do that, I
would wait. You're close enough to the new release, right? That I would probably wait. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, you know, if they're going to have any kind of deals on this, because you know there's some pretty decent trade-in deals right now. I don't know how much more expensive that phone is going to be, or if it would be worth paying that extra for.
My experience, and I do this every year, is Samsung's very generous when the new phone comes out on trade-ins. Mm-hmm. So they will take your old phone and give you a surprisingly good amount of money for it. They probably will also bundle in the Galaxy Buds or maybe the Galaxy Watch. They really like to stimulate the early sales of these phones because they think it reflects well on them.
Right.
So I would say, we'll put a link to the rumors on this. I would say wait, and yes, you'll get a great deal because Samsung loves to sell a lot of these early on. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys. Let's see. I thought the 3 was quite good. I still have my 3. Improved chip might make a big difference.
Like push. You know, I'm getting mine through Best Buy, and the trade-ins value varies a lot depending on your provider. Like Verizon was giving me $850 or $800 on my trade-in. T-Mobile, $150.
Yeah, so I usually, what I do when a new phone comes out, I shop around. I go to Best Buy. I go to Samsung. Often offers the best deals. So that's the advantage of this. When it's brand new like that, you can shop around and see. And you know what? If it is not a better deal than getting the Z Fold 3, then maybe you just get a Z Fold 3. It will be reduced in price almost certainly when the new one comes out.
Yeah, I should probably wait a little bit for that. The main question that I had, believe it or not, was what are the best protocols to follow before I go down there to pick up my phone and they transfer all the data to make it go as quickly as possible? I know deleting all my photos because I have everything backed up.
I wouldn't worry about it. These days, moving from one Samsung phone to another is really easy. And you could do it yourself. You don't have to. Samsung gives you a week or two to send the old phone back after you get the new one. I'm sure Best Buy does something similar. I always just do it myself. You put them side by side. Actually, I think you can connect them with the cable that comes with the phone, and it's very quick, and it's the easiest way to just make your new phone be like the old one.
Yeah, that's my suggestion in terms of don't have them do it. That's the fastest thing you can do. If they're like, oh, we'll do the transfer for you, I always skip out on that.
Oh, no,
I can do it better than they can and can be in full control of the situation.
Yeah, well, the guys at Best Buy had said that they, for whatever this T-Mobile deal is, because we're moving from Verizon to T-Mobile because it's a much, much, much better deal for us and we have better coverage with T-Mobile. They said that I actually had to give them the phone and they were the ones that had to send it in.
What?
I don't
That's what they told me last week.
Yeah, that may be. Samsung, what Samsung does, they give you a mailing label, put it on the box that they sent you the old phone.
So Best Buy's just doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that may be their deal with Samsung. I don't know what their deal is, but with Samsung, you don't have to worry about it.
I would just double check, triple check that you're backed up is the best thing you can do. Maybe even go as far as removing the password on the phone as you're on the way there, so that way they can get access to it and do the things that need to be done. In terms of time-saving measures, I think that's the best you can do.
Okay. And what about backing up my text? I was told that takes like a super long time. I do have them backed up, but they were saying transferring them takes forever. Any experience on that?
I've never done the transfers on Android.
Who do you use for your text messages, Google or Samsung?
I believe it's Samsung. I'd have to look on here and see.
If you're using Google, there's nothing to do. It just remembers them.
Right.
I don't know what Samsung does. I never use this. I only see if I'm using the Samsung app. I shouldn't say that now. I have the S22 Ultra. I generally just use the Google app, and I think if you back up everything to Google, including your text messages, they just come back down.
Yeah, I know. I do have them all backed up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good tips. I'm glad we talked. I didn't know about the force, so that's a good thing. I'm going to have to go down there and maybe talk to him today and say, we need to delay this, kids.
I'm fascinated about this whole LED screen technology. That's cool. And then what do they shoot the show on? Are they shooting it on Sony cameras or?
Yeah, it's a new world, man.
What do they shoot? What do they shoot in studio on? Do they have to use a Sony rig?
What's that?
Do they have to use a Sony rig to work with that screen, or?
Oh, no, any camera works with it.
Oh, okay.
Any brand.
Is it a head? Is it a special head then?
No,
Oh.
no, it doesn't matter. Now, if you're doing camera tracking and so forth, you just have a tracking device on top of the camera.
Ah, got it.
There's in the ceiling, so that. But you could use anything. You could use your cell phone, as far as that's concerned.
Wow.
So it's
cool.
a fun thing to see. If you're ever down here,
I'll let you know. I'd love to watch it. Yeah. Thank you, Jody. All right, let me do a little mention for our fabulous sponsors for today's Tech Guy podcast, the good folks at Cisco Meraki. We're big fans of Cisco Meraki, and if you run a business these days, given all the security issues, you probably should know about Cisco Meraki. They're the experts in cloud-based networking for hybrid work. Nowadays, employees want hybrid work. I saw a company that said their employees had to come back and like 300 of them quit. This is not an option, right? But of course, and by the way, executives know that. And of course, you want the experience for the hybrid employee to be the same no matter where they are. You also want security. You want a cloud-managed network. You want Cisco Meraki. With Cisco Meraki, you get the same exceptional work experience no matter where your employees are, at home, at a cabin in the mountains, a lounge chair at the beach, or in the office. And I know, a lot of people say, well, we're going to make people come in, but honestly, hybrid work is here to stay. And actually, it works if you've got the right setup. It works best in the cloud. It's got benefits for both employees and leaders. Workers can move faster, deliver better results. They're happier with a cloud-based, cloud-managed network. Leaders can automate distributed operations. They can build more sustainable workplaces. They can proactively protect the network. An IDG Market Pulse research report conducted for Meraki highlighted the top-tier opportunities in supporting hybrid work. Hybrid work is a priority for 78% of C-suite executives. Leaders want to drive collaboration forward, but of course they want to stay on top of boosting productivity and security. And that's, those are the challenges of hybrid work. IDG report raises the red flag, particularly about security, noting that 48% of leaders report cybersecurity threats as their number one obstacle to improving workforce experiences. So what's going to make a difference there? Always on security monitoring. And that's part of what makes the cloud-managed network so awesome. IT can use apps from Meraki's vast ecosystem of partners, turnkey solutions built to work seamlessly with the Meraki cloud platform for asset tracking, location analytics, and more. You can get insights on how people are using the workspaces. In a smart space, for instance, environmental sensors can track activity and occupancy levels to stay on top of cleanliness. You can use it to reserve workspaces based on vacancy and employee profiles. You can do hot desking, which allows employees to scout out a spot in a snap. If you're in a restricted environment, locations can be booked in advance, can include time-based door access. Again, you're controlling the security, even in physical spaces. Mobile device management means you're integrating devices and systems to allow IT to manage, update, and troubleshoot company-owned devices, even when the device and employee are in a remote location. So, turn any place into a space of productivity. Empower your organization with the same exceptional experience, no matter where they work, with Meraki, Meraki, and the Cisco suite of technology. Learn how your organization can make hybrid work work. Visit meraki.cisco.com/twit. Meraki, meraki.cisco.com/twit. We thank Meraki and Cisco for their support of the Tech Guy podcast. Now back to the show. Micah Sargent, Leo Laporte, Tech Guy, episode 1909. if you hear us talking about, we'll put that link in the show notes, which we do. In fact, we've got a link to Tom's Guide's summary of all the rumors about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4. We'll put that in the show notes. That's at techguylabs.com, techguylabs.com. And if you go to 1909, it takes a while, okay? It's not immediate. Producers kind of take it. They get all the stuff in there, usually just links. We'll get a transcript up after a couple of days. Got humans go through that, make sure it makes sense. Audio and video from the show that has to be edited, put up there. But eventually, within a couple of days of the show, you'll see a complete set. Everything you need to recover your memories of this fabulous episode, 1909. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number, 888-827-5536. And Kevin is on the line from Las Vegas. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Leo. Hey, good to talk to you again. I called you about a month ago, and I had just been working with my new Mac Studio.
Woo! Still like it?
I love it.
Yay.
Studio Max.
Yes.
And I'm glad you talked me down off the ledge about getting the studio display. And I've been looking at different 4K monitors now because the 5K are just out of sight as it is, price-wise. But the only question I have about that is I've heard a lot about scaling for 4K monitors and how that might affect using it on a Mac.
I'm looking at a 4K monitor right now on my Mac. You've used the display control panel, so you go into the display control panel, and you get a variety of choices. In fact, there are programs you can put on there that give you even more choices. Generally, on a 4K or a 5K display. Actually, what do you do on the studio? The studio's 5K. Micah has 5K. A studio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you don't do cut it in half. You don't do...
Exactly.
It's weird.
It doesn't go up and then they cut it down to make it look smooth and proper.
So normally that's what you do on a 4K display, which is 2160. You display it so that the icons and the menu text aren't so small. You display it at half that, which is 1080. Mm-hmm. But then if you open Photoshop or something that has a higher resolution, Apple will automatically display that in the full 2160. But that's not the case on the
5K is just native.
It's 5, but it's not native all the time.
Sorry, not native, but it is.
But it's not half.
No. So there's a really
they scale it in some weird way.
There's an excellent. I'll have to find the piece. I can't remember where it is. We'll definitely include it in the show notes. But it's I think Mark Edwards, is that his name? Who talked about the difference between using a 4K display and a 5K display on the Mac and why. I know where you're getting this, Kevin. You've probably seen different YouTube videos and articles about why people are returning their 4K monitors and going for 5K instead. But I think day to day, it's not something that you're going to notice. If you've used your Mac for as long as you have and it's been fine up to this point, that noticing the difference between the 4K and the 5K it's kind of hard. You got to be really picky about it.
So yes. And on the 4K, since you're not getting a 5K monitor, you will probably want it to scale. Apple says best for display, which is almost always what I pick, right, in the display control panel.
Exactly.
But if you want to play with it, you generally want to do, how can I describe this? You want to do round numbers. You want to do half or a quarter, something that's a multiple.
Proportional, right?
Proportional. It's a fraction of the actual resolution. Because scaling by 1/3...
That's where you're going to get some weirdness.
It gets jaggies. It gets weirdness. But except that it doesn't. I mean, that's what's so strange about Apple. It doesn't on their monitor because they don't scale by half. So I don't really know exactly what to recommend. I just would say when you get the 4K, do the default for display. You can see I'm not using that on my Mac Mini right now. I'm using 1080. I don't know what default for display would do. But 1080 is 1/2 the native resolution. And to me, that's going to scale very nicely.
Well, the monitor I'm kind of looking at after researching this for a couple of months, and reading countless reviews back and forth and ups and down, the Dell U2723QE seems to be one of the best.
I'm very happy with Dell monitors. I think they're very good.
Yeah. It's 2001 contrast. It's got a huge hub for all different ports. They
Sounds
tout it
great.
for-
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it sounds really good.
The other recommendation I would have is, and this is something to look for in the monitor, make sure it supports DisplayPort, because if you want the higher refresh rates on the Mac Studio, you can't use HDMI. For some reason, Apple decided to go with a HDMI 2.0 interface, not 2.1, so it tops out at 60 hertz. But if you get a display that can do 120 hertz, make sure you have DisplayPort on it.
I found the piece that I was talking about that I think would be very helpful to you, Kevin, because it talks about a bunch of different displays that are very popular displays in different sizes, and you can look at it to see kind of what this designer who's been in the Mac world for a long time.
Django's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thinks about it. There are lots of different options here.
This is probably more information than you need.
Fair. But I did find it very helpful in kind of understanding where that whole argument about, wait, why is 4K quote unquote bad? It's not bad. It's just an understanding of how the display scaling works.
It's just 1K less. I use 4K everywhere. I don't, only Apple. I did have a 5K iMac for a long time, and I don't notice the difference. I think it's something, it's a selling point for Apple. And by the way, I'm looking at this. This is a Samsung 4K display. When I choose default for display, it's the same as 1920 by 1080. So even though I could go to a higher resolution, I'm doing it. It's an integer fraction of the total.
I know it's so confusing after.
It's very confusing. Honestly, most of the time, default for display is fine.
Yep.
Just let Apple choose. They know about most monitors, and then you only have it's in the Apple's stuff. They have a very limited choice. Although I notice now, maybe this is something new. There's a show all resolutions checkbox, which didn't used to be there. And so now they do have more resolutions. So that's interesting. It's very confusing for everybody now because we have these high DPI displays, which are, most operating systems don't want to operate in high DPI. Apple makes this promise, and I think this is true in Windows as well, that if the source material will use the higher resolution, like Photoshop or Final Cut, that they'll display it in the full resolution, but everything else will be displayed at this half resolution, which is what you want. So you can, if you set it at 5K or 4K resolution, the menu items are tiny, the icons are tiny. It's a little bit weird. So.
Yeah. So I mean, just figuring what the best resolution to set it at. I guess I have to play with it a bit.
I would say again, default for display, and then if you don't like it. Try 10, I probably default for display is 1920 by 1080, even though it's a 4K display, because that's half, right? So that makes everything twice as big, as long as you're going to get the full resolution when you're doing it in Photoshop and things like that. That's kind of what you want.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, I have to thank you for recommending Mint Mobile. I just switched from the big Death Star. Thank God I got away from that.
Oh, they're terrible. Yeah.
Saving some money, and I'm done with them forever. And I had an interesting thing, though. They sent me a last bill for 1 penny.
Oh, thank you, AT&T. That must have cost them at least 50 cents to mail that,
Well, it was an automatic payment, so it just went onto my credit card.
Penny. Oh, my goodness. Well, everything has to balance, It's got to all balance at the end,
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
So, and by the way...
We should mention Mint Mobile is a sponsor, so I want to disclaim that. But, yeah, we're fans.
It's a shame Scott isn't there, because I was going to say to you, it was interesting to listen to him over the last year. And his laugh is just like Agent Smith.
I know, isn't it? Agent Smith. I never heard that one. Leo and Micah, your tech guys. More after this. I always say Santa Claus. Really, Agent Smith from The Matrix?
Yeah, listen to The Matrix, and when he does his laugh, it's chilling sometimes.
Wow. I'm going to tell Scott that. Oh. That's hysterical. So remember, HDMI, not use HDMI, use DisplayPort, and you can get. I actually ended up going out and buying Type C Thunderbolt 4 2 DisplayPort cables. You can get them.
Nice.
Get them from Cable Matters. They're on Amazon, $10-15.
Yeah. Well, this Dell has a USB-C, in it, and it has a ton of ports. It's got 3 regular USB ports. It's got 2 HDMI. It's got everything. So it's almost like a hub. Plus, I think it has a VM switcher too, kind of built in.
You do not want USB-C. If does it not have DisplayPort?
Oh, really? You don't want USB-C?
No. In fact, my wife, I think that's a Dell in there, and it was connected via USB-C, and all of a sudden it was doing something weird. And fortunately, when I bought the Type-C to DisplayPort cables, I bought a few extra, so I brought one in, fixed it. I honestly think USB-C, video over USB-C is funky. I don't know why Dell does it, but they do. And I think it's funky. But her monitor, and I bet you yours does too, had a DisplayPort on it. So check to see.
Yeah, and then I would need a
cable
adapter.
Yeah.
Or cable.
Yeah, just get a cable. Get it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll put a link in the show notes to the cable I bought, which is at Amazon. It's not very expensive.
Okay.
Just check to see if it does. I have not had good experience with USB-C video. It's USB video, and it's weird. I think it's a Dell thing. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
And neither do some computers. So
yeah. Apple's video system is extremely strange. I'm not sure I can recommend it. So their USB-C to DisplayPort 1.4 is $17. I will put a link in the show notes to this.
According to what's in the box here, a Type-C cable, 1 DisplayPort cable.
Yay!
So
you're good.
Yeah. So
you're good. You're golden.
Yeah. I mean, the specs on it sound great. 2001 contrast.
Yeah.
All of the
Dells are excellent monitors. She has the 49-inch Dell.
It's wild.
It's very wide and curvy and weird. And she likes that because she puts spreadsheets side by side on it. She likes to. Yeah. She looks at balance sheets a lot. So.
Yeah, this one comes in 27 or 32, but 32 seemed to be a little bit overkill for me.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. That's a good monitor. Every bit as good as the Apple monitor, I think.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know looking at any of the other 5Ks that were out there, they don't either compare to the Apple as far as quality, or they're just again way too expensive.
Way expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. Nuts.
4K. I use 4K everywhere. Even my 55 inch is 4K. I just don't see any reason to go higher resolution.
Yeah, well, as long as it works well, and and the resolution works for all the things I'm going to be doing with it.
I should.
It should. It's just concerning because of the reviews and everybody, crapping all over the 4K.
Well, I mean, Micah's got it. You don't hate it. It's a good monitor, right?
No, it's a fantastic monitor. It's the webcam was what made everybody be all weird about it, but I don't really use the webcam anyway. It is a fantastic monitor. It looks good. It works every time.
They don't sell it too hard because you didn't buy it.
This is true. I didn't have to pay for it.
I told him not to buy it.
It's too pricey for me. I just can't justify that.
Yeah. That's, I think, really the real complaint is it's a little pricey for what you get.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, exactly. If it were sub 1,000, somewhere around 900 something, maybe.
Yeah, I think the Dells are great. You're going to be very happy.
All right.
Good. I'm glad it comes with a DisplayPort cable too. That's a big plus.
I'll probably pull the trigger on this one. It sounds like it's a good deal.
Oh yeah. So. Oh yeah. I love my Dell monitors. Yeah.
$630 on Amazon.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
So it's not a bad price for that. All right, Leo.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate all the help.
My pleasure.
Hopefully
Take care, Kevin.
The last time I call you on monitors, I hope.
I think you got a good setup now.
All right.
Take care. Bye. What's nice is I can get all of the animated GIFs in. There it is. There's Agent Smith's laughing. There is the Bajango. That's actually a very useful reference article. I'm glad you.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
And they simulate how it looks scaled in and everything.
Oh, that's interesting. So The 5K has a 30-bit per pixel as opposed to 24-bit per pixel. I don't know if that makes a difference. In fact, we always said once you get to 24 bits per pixel, you've got enough color gamut now. You're exceeding the human eye. So, yeah, Smart Switch is good. There you go. Galaxy 4. Do you watch that show?
Our Flag Means Death?
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't finished it yet, but I did
It's a
start
little
watching
broad. I watched the first couple episodes. It was so broad that I think when Blackbeard shows up, when Taika shows up, it gets better.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time is What We Do in the Shadows. So I've been a fan of
love
him for
that
a long
show.
time.
And I've been watching that show. I think that
and the
show
shows,
is
they've done a
hysterical.
great job with the show, too.
Oh, my God, is it funny? Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a Taika Waititi fan. I think the problem was that the captain bothers me.
He's really
just annoying.
He's very annoying.
And it's hard to like a show where
Your
the
main
hero's
characters.
annoying.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's a certain quality to so many of the Taika Waititi shows that I do watch that this one didn't have right off the bat, and so it was like kind of a step down for me.
His kind of knowing wittiness.
But I stuck with it.
What We Do in the Shadows is back in 3 days. Awesome. I still haven't gotten through all the first episodes. I watch it because Lisa's not watching it, so I watch it whenever I have to watch something.
Have you seen the one with the spam or the chain email?
Yes.
That's easily one of the best things on TV.
So, I love the movie, but I think the show's
Bloody
even better. It's so funny. And Colin going, well, here is what you do.
Remind me to tell you a story about him,
funny.
that actor.
Oh. Well, hey, how are you today? Hour 2 of the Tech Guys show. The two tech guys are Leo Laporte here.
And Micah Sargent here.
And if you're in stereo, I will be in the left speaker.
And I'll be in your right ear.
We're not. That's not. It's not. Micah will be all on his own next week, so please help him.
Be kind.
Ask
but
easy questions. No, don't do that.
No. Ask your hardest.
All your printer questions next week with Micah Sargent on the radio. 8888 Ask Leo is our phone number. We have lines open right now. If you want to get through, this would be a good time to call 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. We are, somebody in the chat room is asking, are we going to do the James Webb thing on Tuesday? We'll talk with Rod Pyle tomorrow about it. But as you might know, the new telescope is in position at Lagrange 2, which is 1 million kilometers away from the Earth. It is fully unfolded, and it is taking, they say, science quality images. Really beautiful, but we haven't seen any of them. NASA's having a press conference on Tuesday to reveal the first images, and they say one of the images will be the deepest picture of space ever taken.
Did it launch sooner than it was supposed to?
No.
Why am I thinking this is the one that had the huge hexagonal?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been planning this
for really
more
long
than a
time.
decade. And it was a crazy Rube Goldberg invention to unfold it because you couldn't put it in a rocket. It's too big. So they had to fold it up like origami.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had to, at 1 million kilometers from the Earth, unfold itself. And it did. And it aligned and everything went perfectly. And everybody's very excited about this. Pictures from the origin of the universe. Essentially.
I'm going to include a link to a Pulitzer Prize-winning piece about the James Webb Telescope from Quanta magazine. It is just incredible, and it gave me so much information about the James Webb Telescope.
It's an example of how we still can do some stuff right. You know, we could still do amazing engineering feats, and it gives me hope for the future of space exploration. Rod Pyle will be here next episode tomorrow, and we'll talk about it then. He also has a wonderful podcast called This Week in Space on our podcast network, twit.tv/TWIS, and they're talking about it. They're very excited. Rod's going to join me 7:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Eastern. We'll be co-streaming with NASA as they reveal the first images. Wow, that's exciting. Christian on the line from Ontario, California. Hello, Christian.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing great. Enjoying the sunny day right now.
Nice. Me too. Well, I would be if I were outside, but I can see out my window. What can we do for you?
Well, one thing I always tell people is people forget Samsung. They make like middle tier phones, and not the A models, but the S models as well, like the FEs.
Yeah, and you know what? They're really good phones too.
They're amazing. So like I like looking at phones that are not too expensive. I currently work for a major carrier, so I get all the like first dibs in phones, and I get discounts with Samsung, all that good stuff.
The FEs are called FE stands for Fan Edition.
Yes.
What's the difference? So I have an S22 Ultra. You know, I have the most expensive phone out there that doesn't fold anyway. What would be the difference if I got the Fan Edition?
So in essence, if you can't really compare the S21 FEs to the Ultras, because the Ultras are insane. They're amazing though. I love the Ultras.
But this is a problem with the tech press, which is, and I fully admit to this. We review the top of the line, and we kind of look down our nose at the A series and the FE series, like, well, okay, if you can't afford to spend $1,200 on a phone, I guess it would be okay. But they're not. They're really good phones.
Yes, 100%. So say in essence, if somebody is looking towards the S21, but an S22, but the S21 is there, the FE edition, and it's better than the regular S21. It has a bigger screen. The only downside to it is, from my comparison, is it's the nighttime photos, but you can't really tell the difference, really.
It doesn't have, and this is often the case where you get the less expensive phone, they won't have the best cameras. They'll have the next best. But it's $325. So, you know.
The FEs, I got mine for about $600. But my camera quality and video quality is amazing.
Yeah. And
if people don't want to spend $1,200 for the full, $1,500, the FEs are great phones. The battery life on the FE, the S21 FE, is better than the S22.
Interesting. And for a lot of people, they're willing to give up a great camera for better battery life. Like, that's important.
Yes, very important.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always, I like I said, I work for a major carrier. I'm always on my phone. And
when the Fan Edition, when the FE came out earlier this year, it was a lot of money. It was $700.
Yes.
And at that price point, I'm not sure I would recommend it. I think that hurt them. Samsung obviously realized that was way too much, and they cut it in half.
Yes, that was when it came out at that price point. They kind of messed up, because the S20 FE came out cheaper. I think it came out.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like, why would I buy the Fan Edition when I can get the full edition for less? I never understood that.
Yeah, but in essence, usually, if people usually go to carriers like T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, and
do you work in the stores? Do you work in retail?
No.
No.
I technically yes, but I'm in the field, really.
You're in the field, okay. Because I'm just curious, because I think the people in the stores are the front line, and they're the ones that, I think you were about to say this, most customers trust them to tell them what phone to get.
Yes, 100%. I used to work in a store. My previous carrier was T-Mobile, and in my field, I always saw the FEs be on discount, better of a discount than the flagship phones.
Right.
And they usually come out a lot cheaper in the end. and they get.
So you wouldn't hesitate to recommend that to a customer in a store?
Oh, 100. No, I would not. I would not hesitate at all. I actually go towards those a little more.
Yeah.
Especially like when they go to in stores, sometimes they require down payment, higher taxes, all that stuff.
Right. I think a good retail employee of a big phone company would listen to the customer. I always try to do this and get a sense of what they need and what they want and what they're willing to spend. And then you can make a recommendation. Unfortunately, sometimes it's busy, you're rushed, you just have the stock recommendation. And I know from manufacturers that if the store employees don't recommend them, they're out of business. Microsoft killed its phone, the Kin, within 3 months because they couldn't get anybody to sell it. I remember when Huawei had a deal with AT&T and Verizon to sell their latest phone, and then those companies under pressure from the U.S. government pulled out. Huawei said, well, fine, we cannot sell phones in the U.S. We won't sell phones in the U.S. because without the store, nobody's going to buy them. And Google's Pixels have historically always had trouble selling very many because they're just not in the stores or they don't get recommended as much. So I'm glad you called. I appreciate it. It's good for people to hear this. How about the A phones? Do you like the Samsung A series?
I'll recommend the A series if it's above the A22 series. Or the A20.
There's some really cheap ones. In fact, that's often the free phone that a carrier will give you as an A series. Yeah.
At the moment, I know we do carry the A13, and it is a solid phone. But if somebody wants a little more power, a little more bank, they don't mind paying $3-4 more a month. The A52, A53s are great too.
And I'm really glad you called about the FE because I have still a little prejudice against the FE from those early reports when it was $700. I didn't really consider it because of that. I remember previous fan editions. FE stands for fan editions. Previous fan editions I was impressed by. This one was like a puzzle. What are they doing? But I'm glad now that they've lowered the price, and this is a phone you can easily recommend.
Yeah, and honestly, like I hop phone to phone every 6 months.
Me too.
I trade it in, and I get the newer phone. So I think from my S20, I'm gonna hop over to the Pixel.
Nice.
I did have the Pixel 4 XL, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to try the Pixel 6 XL and see how it is.
I have a 6 XL, and now I'm curious about the 6A. If you get the 6A, you let me know. Call us, okay, Christian?
Yeah, 100%.
You can be our unofficial phone reviewer for us.
Oh, 100%. And I did have OnePlus for a little bit.
Yeah.
And the OnePlus, the system is amazing. It's fast. It's responsive. I think they were one of the first cheaper phones that came up with 120 hertz.
Yes,
and
those beautiful, smooth, refreshing displays, yeah.
The only downside between that phone is the camera quality isn't as great.
Right.
But battery life is good.
That's why you have to know what matters to you. Does it, are you taking pictures? For instance, I don't do phone calls very often, so I don't really care what the phone quality is on these phones. They're not phones for me. They're little computers, little pocket computers.
What do you think about the 8K resolution on the S22 Ultra?
I think the camera system on the 22 Ultra is mind-boggling, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I haven't noticed any resolution issues. It switches automatically, I think, and so you might be surprised if you're taking a picture and then all of a sudden the resolution drops down. But I haven't had that problem. I've been very happy. I think this is... I don't know. I use the Pixel 6 camera as well, and the iPhone. I have a 12, not a 13, and I have to say they're all pretty darn good. So I haven't.
Yeah, they're pretty solid.
Yeah, I haven't noticed any. I use for the Samsungs. I like to use their Expert RAW app instead of the camera app that comes with it because it gives you a little bit more control. So there, you'll know what lens you're using and maybe avoid that switch to a lower res. Hey, I got to run. Christian, a pleasure talking to you. You stay in touch. You sounds like you use a lot of different phones.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Is this break time?
It's break time.
Back to work.
Only if you want.
Because break time is
a short break. Short break. No, Micah is not the new host on
not.
Mac Break Weekly. Are you hurt? Should I have asked you to do that?
No, God, no.
You're busy.
I
You've
have
got
a
plenty
lot
to do.
Yeah.
We're giving him more all the time.
And also, I'm very excited
He
about
just
who
launched a new
is.
show.
I did. Wow, Hands on Mac. There are lots of M words in my head. Yes, Hands on Mac. It's back, baby.
Yeah.
And I've already recorded the first episode of that. It'll be out
What's the first episode about?
I am talking about Mac Bartender.
I love Bartender.
We're going to be downloading lots of apps over the course of this as we talk about them, and people need a way to clean up their menu.
Well, you also really need it if you have a notch on your MacBook, which I do.
Yes.
And the new MacBook Airs also have a notch. And it's so annoying because you would think the menu bar would know about the notch and not put icons underneath the notch where they're invisible, but it does not. So, and I have a lot of stuff in my menu.
Right.
So when I launch something, like I launched Dropbox, and I don't see the icon because it's under the notch, that's terrible design.
That's very bad design, exactly.
So you have to, if you have a notch, you have to have Bartender. It's also if you have a lot of menu items.
Yeah,
it's
and
nice
a
thing
lot
to
of
have.
power users, we've got a lot of menu bar icons. So.
Well, and for instance, one of the reasons my menu bar is full because for Fantastical, I have the, next appointment and stuff. So it's big. It takes up a lot of
me
space.
too. And if you've got, what's that app called? It's got meters and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I stat menus.
I stat menus.
Yeah, which I do. The next release of Mac OS, the notch problem will be fixed. Well, that'll be a relief. How will it fix it? You know what they do, which I hate, is they just let that whole top part of the screen be blank, which I hate that. My Emacs, I use Emacs. What did you order food?
Yeah, I forgot to eat this morning, so I'm very hungry.
Why is it outside?
Because it was delivered.
You had delivery?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Just some groceries. But
Aw, I'm going grocery shopping after the show. Uh-oh, I hope I am. Oh, no, I thought I got the... Dag nabbit.
What's wrong?
I thought I had the list.
Oh, no, your grocery list?
Yes.
Wait, a paper list? Aren't you the tech guy?
I try to get Lisa so we can say, hey, Madam A, add
this.
heavy cream to my shopping list.
What is it, the one you like, Power List or something?
No, I just use the regular Madam A shopping list. And then I finally got the Madam A thermal printer. So I can say, Madam A, print my shopping list. Yes. And it goes, and it's little check boxes. It's great. But Lisa doesn't use it. She was using it. It's interesting how rock stars will write songs about their experience as rock stars. Comedians will do jokes about, traveling and hotels, all their experiences as a comedian. You don't hear tech guys doing whole shows about, my first computer. I'll never forget. I got a Atari 800.
Oh, my God.
I played it all day and night. Maybe you do.
My first iPod. I put lots of songs on.
8888, ask Leo. No, actually, I really love it when... rock stars and comedians talk about their lives. I want to hear about their lives.
You live vicariously through them.
Live through them. Mm-hmm. That's why I like all those shows about billionaires on TV nowadays. Boy. Man, those guys live the life.
Those oligarchs.
Those oligarchs know how to live. Carlene on the line from Phelan, California. Hello, Carlene.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. No, it's okay. What's up?
I have a new Samsung TV. It's not the top of the line. It's a UHD, the 7 series.
Nice. So that's a good TV. That's good.
Yeah, I like the TV. I have it hooked up to my DirecTV box via HDMI cable.
Okay.
I also have an HDMI going to my Yamaha receiver so we can just listen through the speakers. And something's goofy because when I switch from the regular TV, like through DirecTV, to like Netflix or Prime or any of those Hulu, whatever.
Yeah.
No sound comes out.
Yeah.
The sound goes off, and then I have to use the receiver's remote to
Yeah.
switch it back and
How annoying, huh? So here's how you want to route everything.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're using an AV receiver, right?
Yes.
And are you using any of the apps on the Samsung TV? Like when you go to Netflix, is that coming from the Samsung TV?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is why it's confusing. So you want all of the devices, any devices like a Blu-ray player, the DirecTV box or whatever, to go into those inputs on your AV receiver. And then you have an output from the AV receiver going into the TV. Here's the key.
Okay.
Here's the key. That you only need one cable going from the receiver to the TV, but you need to plug it into a very specific port on the TV. It will probably be labeled ARC.
I have that.
Yeah, make sure it's on the ARC port. What that stands for is audio return channel. And so when you watch something on the Samsung, like Netflix, it says, oh, I got to send the audio back down that ARC into the receiver because the receiver's playing it, not the Samsung. So you have set it up that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything goes into the receiver. Receiver has one cable and one only going into the TV. It's plugged into the TV's ARC or eARC channel.
Right. The receiver and the TV are on the ARC.
Good.
But then I have the DirecTV box just going into the TV.
Ah, yes, that's what you. That's what. So you want that to go into the receiver as well.
You know, I tried that. It didn't work, so I put it back. But is it because I don't have the receiver on the correct?
Yeah. So what happens is a receiver, it's an AV receiver. One of the main things AV receivers really do is their HDMI switches. So you have one thing coming out of this receiver to the TV. That's the only input into the TV. And then everything goes in the receiver. But that does mean that when you switch inputs on the receiver, you'll have to, when you switch from DirecTV to some other box, you'll have to tell the receiver.
Oh, so I will have to switch the receiver.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, here's the good news. Here's the good news, and it's a little flaky, but there's a thing called CEC. We've talked about this before. CEC, which is designed to solve this problem. It signals the receiver, oh, wait a minute, now it's the DirecTV box, and the receiver should switch. Getting that working is silly. You got to go into all the menus on the TV and the receiver, make sure CEC is turned on. But at that point, you should, in theory, be able to turn on the DirecTV box and have everything else turn on. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys. It's kind of complicated.
Samsung calls it Anynet.
Anynet.
Well. That's the other
problem. It's not CEC on Samsung. The receiver may call it CEC. Yeah, every company has a different name for the darn thing.
Well, I've got a link for you from Samsung, just because a lot of times what you have to do is once you get everything routed properly on your smart TV, I just had to do this not too long ago, Carlene. On my smart TV, I had to go into the settings and then have my television scan for devices and then go, these ones support HDMI CEC, or in the case of Samsung, they call it Anynet, and then everything starts working as it's supposed to. And at that point, if our fingers are crossed that your Yamaha receiver will automatically switch that input for you.
You could, people in the chat are saying, well, wait a minute, I just have everything going to the TV. You could do that, but you're still going to have the same problem, which is you're going to have to tell the TV, oh, now it's HDMI port 1, oh, now it's HDMI port 2. So I think it's easier to set this up going. That's why you get an AV receiver. And then if you got a Blu-ray player or some other devices, you just plug that into the receiver. And then if CEC is working, the receiver will go, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting sound from this device, and automatically switch over.
Okay.
That doesn't always work. You got to mess with it.
I thought maybe the receiver was.
No. The whole system's a mess. But this is the preferred way of doing it. Have everything going to the receiver. Have the receiver going into the ARC channel on the TV. That way, when you watch Netflix on the TV, the receiver says, "Oh, I'm going to play that audio." you may, I mean, if you can't get CEC working, you may have to manually switch the receiver depending on whether you're watching DirecTV or the Roku or whatever.
What I have to do now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah. But you also probably right now you have to tell the TV set, oh, I'm watching DirecTV now, right?
Well, I have to just flip the switch on the audio back and forth from 2 to 1. It's on audio 1 on my AV, and then it's like it.
So you don't have to tell the TV, oh, we're doing DirecTV now. It's a different port.
No, I just switched it's like a little hiccup.
Yeah. I think, honestly, I think this will work better than you think if you put everything into the receiver with one connection to the TV. Make sure Anynet is turned on the Samsung. Look at the receiver. See if the receiver has CEC support. If it is, make sure that's turned on.
Yes.
And the idea is that you literally should be able to turn on your DirecTV box. It should signal the receiver, which should signal the TV. They all turn on. They go to the right place, and you're all of a sudden watching TV. And similarly, when you change, you hit the Netflix button on the Samsung remote, it should just automatically change to Netflix, and you should hear everything, and you shouldn't have to change anything. That's the theory. Unfortunately, CEC is, flaky, but it should work. It should work.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you very much. Okay.
Take care. Thank you. Did you know Elon Musk? He says the birth rate is too low. Yeah. We've got to have more children.
He's convinced. But also, that's just a way for him to say, this is why I'm having all these
okay for me to have multiple.
I just don't know why anyone listens to anything he says to me.
Starlink for boats. It's only $1,000 a month. Starlink is turning out not to be the egalitarian internet for all I was hoping it would be, but it's internet for the wealthy, basically. You like this song? You're dancing to it.
I am.
No Johnny Jett this week. He is, guess what, traveling. So we'll get him next week. Meanwhile, that just means more for you. More calls. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Stuart in Los Angeles is next. Hello, Stuart.
Hi, tech guys. How are you guys?
We're great. How are you?
Oh, maybe I should say the tech guy and the tech guy the second.
No, we're both tech guys. We're both full bore, full-fledged tech guys.
Excellent. I called actually a few weeks ago and gave you that shortcut fix for how to stop the autoplay on your first song when it plugs into your iPhone in the car radio.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
So, but I was hoping maybe you could give me some advice today.
Sure.
I am having also a little bit of a connection issue between a television and a sound bar, which seems to be a common problem.
It is, isn't it? Yes.
I actually have a Vizio 65-inch 4K HDR TV and a Vizio 5.1.2 soundbar with Atmos. So you would think that because they're both the same manufacturer, that the connection should be relatively easier. But I'm still having some trouble. I have an Apple 4K TV, which I have connected to an Ethernet connection, and then in order to get the Dolby Atmos to function properly, I have to hook the 4K via HDMI to the soundbar. If I go through the TV, the pass-through to the soundbar never is able to see Atmos signal.
Yeah, that's actually that's why you want to use HDMI, so that you can have all of the. It's got more bandwidth, basically. So
right.
Yeah.
So then I did that. Of course, that was not the advice from the no customer support service.
What did they tell you? How did they tell you to hook it up?
They told me originally hook it up to the television and then go from the television to the soundbar, which was
via an optical cable or an HDMI?
No, via HDMI also. But the problem is the Vizio TV I have only has ARC out, not eARC out, and the signal from the 4K Apple 4K TVs, I don't know, the whatever you call it, the way it's
the Dolby Atmos,
yeah, the Dolby Atmos way in which they're
That's how their surround works.
So it doesn't come out the ARC.
Okay.
It comes out eARC.
Only eARC. Oh, okay.
So
all right.
then I went directly to the soundbar and suddenly, got Atmos, which was great. But then to get the video signal back to the television...
I think I'm going to need a diagram.
Yeah.
Well, no, so now I have all the data going from the Apple 4K into the soundbar. And then now I got to get the video out of the soundbar into the television, right? It has to go either into the TV to the soundbar or into the soundbar to the TV, right?
So you're saying
I have
that
an HDMI cable leaving the 4K, the Apple 4K.
Yeah, so you have an HDMI cable and you plug it into the back of the Apple TV, and you're saying that when you originally took that cable out of the back of the Apple TV, you kept that side plugged in, but the other side you plugged into the television,
right.
And then you had another cable that was running from the ARC port on the television to the soundbar.
Right.
At that point, you weren't able to get Dolby Atmos working.
That's right.
And so what you've decided to do is plug the Apple TV directly into the soundbar, which lets you have Dolby Atmos, but now you can't see anything on the television.
No, I can see something on the television, which is good. It's just in one of the maximal settings on the television is when you get the input is to push over a tab that says maximum UHD color or something like that, which is, and my television is grayed out. That is grayed out.
That option is grayed out, but it wasn't grayed out when you were running directly to it.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So I thought maybe it was cables, bad cable or something.
So have you done in the Apple TV? There's a setting where you do it's like test HDMI, I believe was what it's called, and it says like it's going to take you a couple of minutes to do this, and it runs the process for 2 to 5 minutes, and then afterwards it kind of says, hey, everything's okay, or it doesn't seem like you have a high-speed cable. Did you try running that step?
I don't know if I did that actually. I may have. I can't remember, but I am getting. When I come out of the 4K Apple 4K TV to the television, I do get, high quality signal. I can see that I'm getting, super high amount of bits, on the television. Mm-hmm. It has a really good picture. So it seems like it's just this port. And I also maximize the software by updating the firmware and all that,
And you have HDMI 2.1 cables, I presume.
Well, I bought what I thought was high-end cables from Amazon, but it's from a no-name company, but, was selling it as the super high-end 2.1 cable, but it didn't work, so I returned it.
So, 2.1 is necessary, I would guess, for eARC, because you need the high bit rate of 2.1.
Yeah.
That's the biggest change, frankly, is taking advantage of the high bit rate. You can, by the way, ARC should do Dolby. I do Dolby on ARC, Atmos on ARC all the time.
Yeah, but they say something like out of the 4K, it comes in some sort of codec.
Well, it's compressed, yeah.
Yeah, but when it goes down through the ARC port, apparently, and goes into the soundbar, it doesn't get the same... I don't know. It doesn't register as Atmos on my television, on my soundbar. You can push some buttons and it'll tell you what you're getting.
Yeah.
Dolby or something.
Yeah. So Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video send Dolby Atmos in the Dolby Digital Plus format. That's something ARC can handle.
Right.
But maybe other sources...
Apple does not.
Apple doesn't. No, I've had the same problem with Apple.
Only send it through something called, I don't know...
It's an uncompressed. It's a lossless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because the ARC doesn't handle that well, it doesn't allow a pass-through.
Okay.
So the only way for me to get it from the Apple 4K TV is to go straight to the soundbar. But
that makes sense, yeah.
And I can get a good video signal from the soundbar to the television, but not what the Vizio would allow for maximum, which is to flip that little switch to make it maximum UHD color or something. So I feel like I wonder
what that is.
This is a pain. Maybe it's the HDMI cable. I was thinking maybe this. I bought this.
I'll just plug them again. Cable Matters sells cables on Amazon, and I use their HDMI cables, and I've actually solved a lot of problems by just using their HDMI 2.1 cables.
Yeah.
I would also suggest going ahead.
They're not expensive either, by the way.
And hopping into the settings on your Apple TV. I'll include a link in the show notes, techguylabs.com, just to follow through all of those steps. Once you've got it hooked up how you're saying you want it hooked up, do the HDMI test that the Apple TV provides, because that could jostle something loose, make it so it recognizes what's going on, and then you could get that high quality. There are also some settings for different frame matching and source matching in Apple TV settings, and that could be causing an issue.
Isn't it weird how complicated this has all become? I mean, we get a large percentage of our calls now are these kinds of crazy calls. The last call was too.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this complicated.
Well, you would hope with two Vizio models.
Exactly.
You would think. And that this might be a problem if you had two different manufacturers, but yeah. Well, I've got these cables. I don't know the company. It's called Zestkit Maya 8K 48 gigabyte certified ultra high speed HDMI.
Well, that's got to be good.
It sounded good, and it had 4.5 stars with 2,000 reviews.
Well, I'm sure it's not the cable then, but.
But then, when you look at the 1-star review, people who were unhappy, several of them are complaining how it didn't work for them or something. Yeah. But maybe I'll try these.
Thanks to the HDMI folks for changing their specs. And I mean, it's just nuts. And why is 2.0? It should be 3.0, not 2.1. This is a big difference. I don't know.
Sorry, thanks so much.
You aren't much help. Thank you, Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent. You're tech guys. I just don't know. I don't know what to say to you because I'm
sorry, that maybe was a little too painful.
No. It's painful only because I don't know what to do about it. The only
question I quickly would have is there some sort of special certification on these HDMI cables?
No, of course not.
Some people say there's like a hologram and blah, blah, blah.
No.
It's not like electronic components that get the...
And it's a mess, and it's really a mess.
Yeah.
And I don't even, does Apple...
I think what it boils down to is finding a brand that you can trust and knowing that they are going to give you what they say they're going to give you. And for me, it's Cable Matters for everything except for Thunderbolt cables, where I am either Apple directly or Belkin.
Right.
I don't trust any other Thunderbolt cables.
What about the monoprice cable? Do you think that is as...
I usually recommend monoprice.
But not for HDMI for me.
Yeah, and the good news is the Cable Matters cables. I bought a 3-pack for $18.
I heard you talk about that last week.
They're not expensive. Yeah.
Did they solve your problem?
Yes.
Some clickety problems.
Totally solved my problem.
Oh, okay. So maybe you should say that.
In fact,
I meant to ask you that.
Yeah, I've gone through and replaced the HDMI cables on almost every device nowadays.
Same. Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Buy the highest end Cable Matters cable they have.
We'll link to it.
It's just the ultra high speed HDMI certified, so it is certified.
For $20.
They're cheap.
No, it wasn't the price here. I was just...
No, I understand, but you don't need gold. You don't need gold. And there is, by the way...
Cables are like $68 each. I wasn't going to jump into that yet. But.
Yeah, no, you don't. That's not going to make it better. And there is, by the way, there is a QR code and a holographic label on them. So
yeah, that's what some people were saying. Like, you got to get it with the holograph and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know.
Well, these guys do. They also are color-coded, which is handy.
Okay.
I'll get those. Yeah, I've now bought them like 5 times.
Because as short as possible. Also,
3.3 feet is short. That's what I get for back of the box stuff, and then they have a 6.5 and a 9.
But you don't want to just get more than you need because then
I wouldn't.
Lose data.
The shorter the better.
Right.
I mean, in theory, 10 meters is okay, but I would say the shorter the better. They go from 1 meter to 3 meters.
Yeah. One last quick question. On the out from the television, there's a setting that you could set the audio out also to bitstream or Dolby. That's for data, I guess, coming from something other than the Apple 4K, maybe. I don't know. Does that matter if it, the data leaving the television back through the HDMI cable to the sound
bitstream is unencoded.
So is that the better one? Because
no.
You let the soundbar code it, or
no. You want to send the soundbar the Dolby encoded. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that should be on Dolby.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for stuff that can't handle the Dolby, that doesn't understand Dolby.
Yeah.
Bitstream is the lowest quality. That's just unencoded. Just,
But does the soundbar actually then take the unencoded and run?
No. It decodes what it gets. It will play back. All it's doing is playing it back.
I see. So you want to send it as
best you can.
Data as possible.
That's
so
right.
Dolby is better.
Dolby Atmos, yeah.
On the out of the TV.
On the out, yep.
And okay, wow, this is really painful.
It shouldn't be this hard. I don't understand. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's the audio, the AV installing community that's making it like this. I don't know.
A little bit like tax prep.
Maybe somebody listening as an AV installer can call us and say, "Oh, you know what? The real solution is." But I don't think there is. I think they've intentionally made this ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't.
PCM, Bitstream, Dolby. I mean,
yeah.
I have some reasonable amount of technical experience, and I'm getting lost.
Yes. Us too. Thanks, Stuart.
Professor Laura warned us she was going to play it.
Is this it? Genuine?
Genuine's pony.
Is it genuine?
It's genuine.
Genuine.
Yeah.
Not genuine. Is he going? Yeah.
I don't know if that's him or if he sampled something.
Is that a sample? Yeah.
Could be.
Laporte, the tech guy. It's really... technology ruins everything.
Yes.
It's
amen.
really interesting to watch, 80s music when they discovered the synthesizer, and maybe late 70s, and how they slowly incorporated it in. It was Tainted Love.
God, love that.
Like the cheesiest Casio tone. And then, it's really fascinating to watch it, an auto-tune. And technology, now music is a technological product.
Aha's Take On Me.
Was that an early use of the synthesizer, or just?
I don't know. That song is very of its era for me and very electronic.
8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Do we have to add TV misconfigurations to printers as the new into the set of categories? No. We'll take anything.
We'll try,
but we may not be able to help.
Exactly.
And it's just crazy.
Because everybody's television setup is different, and the cables that you're using.
It's a mess. It's just a mess.
It's hard to do over
And
the
then
radio.
the companies, you mentioned it, Samsung doesn't call it CEC, they call it Anylink.
Yeah.
And
Why?
everybody's got a different name. It's just designed to make you
just
nuts.
wish you could reach through and just pop things in.
We didn't have Johnny Jet this week, but good news. The Airplane Guy podcast, Micah from Maine, is on the line. Hello, Micah.
Hi, Leo. Hi, Micah. I got to tell you, I'm a little insulted, you guys.
What?
Call me.
We're supposed to call you. Well, it was a last minute. Johnny Jet's going to be in the airplane. Sorry. I should have called you. I apologize. But here you are. Look at that. He appeared and he called us. Give us some travel tips, Micah.
Well, I will, actually. You've got to be very careful these days. SAS, Scandinavian Airlines, has just filed for bankruptcy.
Oh, no. I thought they were government-owned.
Technically, they're not exactly government-owned. You know how those European agencies sort of work. You're never quite sure. But
I loved SAS. I used to fly it whenever I could.
They're a great airline, but it shows why you got to pay attention to things and always pay for your tickets with a credit card because, again, they're still flying, but you never know when they're not going to fly. So if you're going to book a flight, don't book on SAS right now because they filed for bankruptcy. You don't know what's going to happen.
I thought it was a strike, so it's not just a strike.
No, SAS has filed for declared bankruptcy in the USA, and that came out about 3 days ago, and who knows exactly what's going to happen with that.
They're owned by Sweden and Denmark. I don't understand. How can that happen? Oh, man. All right. It's not Chapter 7. At least it's Chapter 11. It's reorganization. So,
right.
And then and the problem is with the strike from its pilots, they're losing money fast. So
everybody's having trouble with pilots and losing money, and in fact, British Airways is another airline to watch out for. They have scrapped over 10,000 flights through the summer season, and they're canceling more flights all the time. I've had friends that were on British Airways when their flight got canceled and they got stuck in Copenhagen, and it just goes to show you that whenever you're traveling these days, have travel insurance.
Yeah.
If you travel regularly, you should be purchasing an annual plan so that you're always covered.
Oh, that's interesting.
Can I ask you actually a question about travel insurance? Because a friend of mine, they were planning on taking a trip and ended up having to cancel the trip last minute because they fell somewhere somehow and ended up breaking their ankle. And so they weren't able to take the trip and had been buying travel insurance and went to go file to get the money back. And it turns out that if you hurt yourself, you don't get to go, you don't get your money back. Are there different kinds of travel insurance that provide for those situations? Like, what does travel insurance actually protect you from?
Well, there are all sorts of various policies with travel insurance, just like life insurance. And you've got to make sure that the coverage that you want is included in the policy that you purchase. There's a cancel for any reason policy that may or may not include COVID. So you need to make sure you have COVID coverage.
Wait a minute. Any reason except COVID. Okay.
Right. Or an act of war or whatever it happens to be. You know, insurance writers are written by lawyers and, you know.
Yeah, they don't want to pay if they don't have to. I have to say my travel agent, God bless her, Jane at Travel Store, always buys travel insurance. And when I go it alone, I usually don't. But I guess I think I should probably be doing that. It sounds like, especially nowadays.
Well, I got to tell you, Leo, when we talked about this when Johnny was our guest on the Airplane Geeks last week on episode 706, we talked about travel insurance. We talked about the annual travel insurance plan. And while he was on the show, I looked it up for what it would cost for me living in Maine, being about the same age as you are. And for an annual plan, it would be under $500 for the year.
Yeah.
Any place I go. And that's with the company that Johnny represents. I don't know if I should say it on the air or not.
Is he with Allianz?
He's with Allianz.
Okay,
yes.
That's the biggest, I think, travel insurer.
Right, but you can also go to insuremytrip.com, which is a great site, and it shows travel insurance and different prices from all sorts of different companies, and you can go through each of them and decide which one you want to use, what the price works, and what the coverage is.
Yeah.
Travel insurance is always a good idea, but one thing not to do is if you're flying on a flight or, more importantly, taking a cruise, don't buy the insurance from the company with which you're traveling.
Because if they go bankrupt,
you're out of business.
That was another thing. Thank you, Jane. Jane always buys it. She says, don't buy it from the cruise line. Yeah. Especially, again, with cruise lines these days kind of going belly up. Wow.
You got to be very careful. And the other thing I will tell you is that there are two things that I will talk about in terms of travel this time. All my friends who are looking to travel, if they say, what should I do? Should I go? I'm telling them, if you can avoid traveling this summer, don't travel this summer. It's a miserable time to travel. You can't take any chances. But on the other hand, if you're planning on traveling in the future and you find a fare that looks good, and I'll give you an example. A friend of mine said he wanted to go to Thailand and he wanted to go in business class because he's flying from Florida, and would I help him find a seat? And so I did. And I found him an incredible fare for $3,200 round trip in business class with only one stop from Miami.
Nice.
And I told him, this is a great deal. It's a mistake, though, because I'm looking at all the other fares and everything else is double. So if you want to go, buy it now as we're talking about it. He said, let me think about it. He called me back about 5 hours later. It had already gone up to $4,000. I told him it's $4,000. He said, oh, that's more than I wanted to spend. Let me think about it. He called me back the next day. It was $5,000. So if you see a fare, grab the fare, but pay for it with your credit card so that you're covered if there's an issue.
Do you remember, you're probably too young to remember this, but I bet you Micah remembers it. They used to sell insurance in the airport for your flight. Do you remember that?
First flight I ever took.
Like a vending, they had vending machines in the airport, and I think the idea was as people get freaky about their flight, they like last minute, let me buy an insurance policy.
That's exactly what they used to have, and I remember doing it. The first time I ever flew was with my grandfather. He was terrified. It was his first flight as well, and just before we got on the plane, he filled out the insurance policy, got a stamp, and dropped it in the mail.
It's so funny. I don't think they do that anymore. I wonder if there's regulations or whatever. I mean, you don't even know who you're buying it from. It's just, it's like a vending machine at the airport.
There it was, out of a vending machine, yeah. But no, travel insurance is really an important thing to have these days.
I agree. I hate to say it because it adds to the cost of these trips, but it's going to really cost you if you get to the airport and your flight's been canceled and there's no other flight and the boat's going to leave and you're just out of luck. Mr. Micah, I appreciate it. The Airplane Geeks podcast.
Episode 707 coming up this week. We're going to be talking about the 707, and it should be out on Wednesday. Give it a listen.
Oh, that's the one you were telling us about. I'm excited. Episode 707. Thank you, Micah. Leo and Micah, the other Micah, tech guys. More calls right after this. Oh, look, here's an article. Whatever happened to airport vending machine travel?
Look at the crossword clue from this morning. Made me think of you.
Specialty of Rhode Island cuisine. And what was the answer? Clam cake. Yes. Was that New York Times?
Yeah, New York Times.
They must listen to me.
They must.
You got it, too. You knew
I did immediately.
That's hysterical. Clam cakes. God, now you make me want clam cakes. All right, this is from Insurance Business Magazine. Thank you, Mike B.
How much time do we have?
You got 7-8 minutes.
Okay, I can make coffee.
Forever and ever and ever. Whatever happened? Yes, what is that, Johnny?
When you get a chance, could you make an admin account in this machine?
Oh, yeah. And a Micah.
Yes.
And then make another one.
Yes. Oh, good thinking. Yes.
Make his password something we will both forget immediately.
I like Change Me. That's always a good choice.
And probably you want it for the Windows machine too, right? Or are you going to bring in your own laptop?
I'll bring in my own.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring in Elvis.
Okay.
I'll see Elvis anyway.
In 1985, the LA Times reported that business magnate John Shaheen passed away at the age of 70. He invented Teletrip, the vending machines that used to sell life insurance in airports throughout North America. Wow. You can still do it in the Japan and Taiwan. Yeah, that was like $2.50. Oh, dear. The business model simply depreciated because air travel came to be perceived as so safe and routine, it eliminated any demand for pre-travel life insurance. That's the problem. These airlines made it too safe. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here. Hour number 3 of the Tech Guys show. Leo and Micah answering your calls. The phone number.
Has it already been?
It is hard to believe how fast this goes by. 8888 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still call, but you got to use Skype out or something like that to call. We do get callers from all over the world. 888-827-5536. State of Virginia on July 5th said, you got to come back to work. No more work from home. And as a result, more than 300 employees quit. What? Now, I'm sure the state has many tens of thousands of employees, but still, 183 employees from the Virginia Department of Transportation quit. 28 of them said telework options, but I think that most of these people quitting is because this is the problem. You let people work from home.
Wait, is that the problem, or is it that we've discovered that you can work from home?
You can work from home, and it opened the candy box, and now you can't close it. You can't say, nope, no more of that. I think this is not just Virginia. I think this is everywhere.
Yeah.
We're not making people come back to work at our little company. We've got about 15 employees, not a huge number, but we did lose a few. We had employees who we said, "Oh, pandemic's over." This was a while ago when we thought it was over.
Remember that?
Remember that? Pandemic's over. Come back to work, and they said, "Nuh-uh." I don't blame them. The funny thing is, I could work from home.
Yeah,
in fact, when I first 15 years ago, when I started to. 18 years ago, I started doing the Tech Guy show. I did it from my home office for a few months, and it was terrible because you need some energy to do this show. You need some excitement. You need to put on your big boy clothes. You can't go in your slippers.
There needs to be separation, right?
Yeah, and it's something about it. You're doing a show. You got to go in and do the show, and just for me to slop down the hall in my slippers and sit down, it was just, hey, it's Leo, it's the Tech Guy. Okay, we're going to take some more calls. It just wasn't good.
Yeah.
Wasn't good. So I've been, ever since, and during the pandemic, kept coming in.
Came in,
right?
yeah.
Kept coming in. You didn't. You did a lot of your shows from home. That was okay.
I still do iOS Today from home.
Is it hard? Would you prefer to do it here?
No. So with iOS Today, I really like doing it from home because of the way the show works, and with switching and stuff like that.
Well, and
I feel I'm
your
in control.
co-host is in the UK, so she's not in the office either.
Tech News Weekly we started doing back in studio, and I love that. The energy that Jason and I can
think
play
there's
off
something
of each other.
when you're in the same room performing at the same time. There's something about it.
Yeah, and also, I'm not going to lie, I do love handing over some of that control to someone else to worry about. And
well, that's
so
the
when we
reason
have
I do it.
The technical. Well,
I
you
don't
like
want
to run your own show, though. You push the buttons.
I push some buttons.
Yeah,
they give me buttons to push.
That's what it
this is really. Let's be honest.
Let's give Leo the one.
Give
that has
Leo
a
a
cow
button.
On it, makes the new sound.
give Leo a button and let him push it. He'll be happy. Paul is on the line from Columbus, Ohio. Hello, Paul. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent.
Hi, Leo,
Micah,
and Micah, and
hi, Paul.
All the guys.
Yeah.
Hey, the Airplane Geeks is great. I'm kind of an airplane and space buff, and I love that.
Oh, good. Well, I'm sure Micah's still listening. Well, that's great.
And,
good show.
And Rod, too, of course.
Oh, I love Rod. Yeah, our space guy. Yep.
You always have something new and interesting. Yep. Okay, a couple things. First, over the last probably a couple of months or so, you've mentioned a new system they're working on to eliminate passwords.
Yes.
And you just kind of lightly touched on it, and I'm intrigued and very hopeful.
Me too.
That's the first question. I got to know, but what's going on with that?
So this is an alliance called the Fido 2 Alliance, which is a group of companies. The most important three are Microsoft, Google, and Apple. They make the operating systems 99.9% of us use, or maybe 98% if you don't include Linux. Fido Alliance has for a long time been saying we got to have. So the thing to understand is the problem here is something called authentication. How do you demonstrate you are who you say you are? This becomes really important. It's important when you go to the bank and you say, here, give me $100. How do we know you're you? Well, you've got a driver's license with your picture. They look at you and they look at the picture, and that's generally accepted. In some environments, simply a signature is all you need. Online, it's a little more difficult because you aren't in person. So what we came up with is a very awful system called passwords. Prove you are, when you go to Facebook, prove you are Paul. Well, you have a login, which is usually an email address. Login. You have a password, which in theory only you know. You enter it. Unfortunately, you have many sites that you have to remember passwords. So that means either you're going to reuse passwords, bad idea, or you're going to make easy to remember passwords, also bad idea. Ideally, every password should be unique and hard to remember, but that becomes very complicated. So everybody knows this. Microsoft has several times said we're going to get rid of passwords, never really quite successfully did so. So I do hope, I'm with you, that this new solution, which is sometimes called passkeys, that's not the official name, but I am hoping that this system will work. So how does Fido 2, aka passkeys, work? You have something, usually it's your phone, might be a computer, might be something else. You have something that identifies you as being you, usually from a fingerprint or a face ID, right, through biometrics. Well, that phone knows you are you. pretty effectively, probably even more effectively than a driver's license, right? It'd be a lot harder to spoof. So the idea of passkeys is when you get to a website, the website says, well, are you really Paul? And they say, verify yourself. And then, and this is the magic, your phone pops up with a little message saying, are you Paul? And you say, yes. The presumption is you wouldn't have access to that phone if you weren't Paul, right? So the phone communicates back and says, yep, it's Paul. You've probably experienced this. Microsoft's been using something similar when you log into Windows. If you have a Microsoft account, I don't know if if you've set up Windows recently, it'll say, okay, what's your Microsoft account? You'll say your login, your Outlook email or whatever it is, and then it'll say, all right, the secret number is 64. Go to your phone. Your phone has a little pop-up that says, what's the secret number? You hit 64 and then you're in. It's a very similar situation. The problem is that only works with Windows. This will work with any site that supports it. So notice there was no password involved. You were using biometric authentication on a device. Now, you might ask, well, what if I don't have my device? There are failbacks, which one hopes doesn't include passwords, because remember the weakest link in security is the one you got to worry about. Typically, they'll show a QR code on the screen. You'll take a picture of it with your phone. Your phone will say, yeah, you're you. What do you do if you don't have a phone? That becomes a little more complicated. I would presume that a site that is offering passkeys authentication would also offer old school passwords, which means most people will still be using passwords for the years to come because that's what they're used to. But for us, Paul, for you, me, and Micah, there's some hope that we will. You have a smartphone, I presume, right, Paul?
Oh, yeah, iPhone.
Yeah. So there's a hope that iPhone now becomes your, basically the way to think of it is that iPhone is your authentication. It's your driver's license. And websites and apps will have a way of querying. That's a little more complicated. They have to query a central server and so forth. But they'll have a way of querying your phone and saying, oh, is it really Paul? And the phone says, yeah, it's really Paul. That's a much better system.
So when will we expect to see this start at least?
Apple's building it into iOS 16. Microsoft and Google both are committed to this. How soon they'll get it, I don't know. But really, if Apple does it, that's critical mass because half of America owns an iPhone. So I would guess that you'll start seeing sites as soon as September or October start saying, you'll go to a site and they'll say password or passkey. You'll click the button that says passkey. It'll pop up something on your phone and you'll be in.
That's great. That's great.
There are some complications. For instance, your phone will be your passkey. What if you change phones? Well, if you stay with Apple, it'll be okay because they're going to upload the keys to iCloud. But if you go to an Android, all bets are off. That's problematic. Yet to be solved. But I mean, that's kind of inherent in the process, right? If your phone is going to be your driver's license, you're going to be your identification. Well, it's problematic if you change phones. Apple is going to store this all in a secure enclave in iCloud, so that's how they get around it. I presume Google will do the same with Android devices, and Microsoft the same with Microsoft devices.
Right. Can't wait. Okay, the second question relating to Microsoft 365. We've got an old version of Office on the computer. I know I can have to uninstall the original version and install the new Microsoft 365. Looking at the family program, because it's got 6 terabytes of storage, which is nice. Won't ever use all that much.
It's a good deal, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but nice. But and it's also, considering that it includes the apps, it's cheaper than going with
right. Than buying one outright. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, is there a way, like you can set it up so that you have multiple accounts for each person? Like if I can make one specifically for photography or something like that. What I'm getting at is if my wife and I are using the computer, we've got 6 terabytes over potentially 6 users, but we don't have 6 users. is that the only way we're going to be able to get access to
it's 1 terabyte per account.
per account? So we'll just have to set one up.
You could set up multiple. You could have a photography account. You don't have to tell them it's not a person, it's a thing. But it is 1 terabyte per account. You can't aggregate all 6.
Okay. But then you can access that from I believe your phone or an iPad.
From OneDrive. Anything that supports OneDrive, yep.
OneDrive, yeah.
And the nice thing is with Windows, you can set apps like Word to automatically just use OneDrive. That becomes your default storage, and you can have a local version as well. That's a very nice way to do backup, I think.
Yeah, well, iDrive, unfortunately, was raising its price, and by the time, you've got 6 terabytes potential for Microsoft with the...
Yeah, if you use Office, if you use Word or Excel or PowerPoint, I think it's a no-brainer. I have an account. It's a no-brainer. And by the way, I don't know that you'll have to delete your old version. It might install right on top of it.
I looked it up, and they to do it. But
they recommend you remove it. Okay.
There was an account my wife was using from her employment, and she retired and whatever. But so that it doesn't work anyway, most of it.
Oh, that makes sense. Actually, that makes sense. Yeah. I think I do it. I love it. I put it on 5 different computers. It's great.
The one question going back to the travel insurance. After like 2 or 3 years of doing almost nothing, we've got actually in the next year have 3 things.
I know, me too. Yep.
I wonder if that insurance is like, if we set it up today, is that for the calendar year, or can you do it from like...
Oh, that I don't know. I would guess that it's starting the day you start the coverage.
I would think.
Yeah.
I'm going to check with my...
That I do not know. Yeah. Ask your travel agent.
Absolutely.
Where are you going? Where's your first trip in 2 years?
Well, the first trip is a New England cruise in September.
See
New England to
the foliage.
Canada.
Oh, well, I want to call me after you come back. I'm very interested in doing that. Lisa wants to see the foliage.
A little early for the foliage, but it's still a nice trip. Goes all the way to Federal and all that.
Oh, nice.
So the second one is a repositioning cruise. We fly from New York to Barcelona. Barcelona back to Fort Lauderdale.
I love that because it's all sea days. You just get to relax.
Got 5 days at the beginning. That's Spain and Portugal, and then the rest of it is sea days.
Love those sea days.
In May, it's a 2-week Alaskan cruise.
Yeah, I've been saving up for. Unwillingly, been saving up since 2020. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Micah Sargent, Leo Laporte, your 2 tech guys. We're here to help. I've been talking too much, Micah. I'm going to eat this delicious Slim Jim and let you take the next call.
Slim Jim.
Right after this. I might not be in any condition to answer the phone. Flavorful.
That's you.
I still got that Slim Jim snap. I know, you're revolted. I'm revolted.
I'm just thinking about all the salt.
Oh, salt's good for you. You need salt.
Yeah, in moderation.
Oh, I eat a lot of salt. I don't have a problem with salt. Some people don't have a problem with salt. Some people do. I don't. I eat lots of salt. My son is Salt Hank.
This is true. You kind of have to do the salt.
I have to. Gosh darn it. On the line from Beaumont, California, Nellie. Hello, Nellie. Welcome to the Tech Guy Show.
Hi, Leo. Hi, Micah.
Hi, Nellie.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Good. Micah's going to take it.
Yeah, tell us your comment. I'm here for you.
Go ahead.
Leo was my uncle's name, too.
Oh, it's a good name.
And Micah was your cousin's name.
It's a good name.
There you go. About a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks, because I don't listen to you every week.
Oh,
what?
My heart.
What? We got to work on that.
Yeah, busy on the weekends. But
teasing you, of course.
We're talking about Big Brother watching you.
Yes.
And I wanted just to comment on an experience I had. I was ordered to take some lab work at a lab, Quest Diagnostics.
Yes, I know them. They're one of the biggest
well-known
test companies in the country. Yeah.
Right. So before you can walk in and just get it done, but now you have to call on the phone to make an appointment.
Yep.
They ask your name, your birth date. They have all that in the computer. So when you go for your appointment at the location that you choose, they have a tablet that you have to still register your
I remember that. Yep.
appointment.
Yep.
But now what you need to do is scan your driver's license, real ID, front and back. You can see them.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very invasive, and I think it's illegal. They're going to have your medical history, your blood type. Who knows who they can be selling that information to down
It's
the line.
certainly annoying. And I would, before I do that, say, well, I want to see your privacy policy, but it's not illegal.
Yeah.
In fact, briefly, the IRS considered a similar system for you to get your refund check and so forth. They were going to go with a company called ID.me, may well be who Quest uses. And ID.me was going to require you hold up your driver's license to a camera next to you, and they could verify who you are and, of course, get all the information from your driver's license. Not only not illegal, it was the IRS was going to do it, and only because there was a hue and cry that they decided to change. They changed their mind. But the issue, of course, is in the case of testing, is you sending somebody in your place to get tested. With the IRS, it was people fraudulently claiming tax refunds. It is legal. I wish it weren't, and I agree with you. It's a problem. Leo and Micah, the tech guy. Zzz. 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 Yeah, I understand your issues with it. And the good news is because it's a medical procedure, they are governed by HIPAA. And, HIPAA there are some severe fines if they were to share that information without your permission. So they may have it, but they can't pass it along. Because it is,
honestly,
protected.
in this way, it's you're being protected more because if that data is available to them, they can make sure that your specific information, whatever the labs were that were done, that when somebody comes and says, "I need to see those labs," that you have to then prove that it's actually you or the person that you've given permission to see those things.
Right.
So they're tying those
They're
two things
protecting
together
you.
to protect you more.
Yeah, you are you, only you.
Yeah.
But that's why I think things like passkeys are going to be good because it's a way to authenticate without giving all that information over, right? In fact, a couple of states now allow you to use your iPhone's wallet as a driver's license.
Yes.
Has the same benefit. If somebody asks your age, you show them your driver's license. Now they could hook up to your phone or you show them their phone and have a scan a code, and then all they get is the age.
Exactly. Only what you need to give over.
Right.
I believe it's Montana. Let me see here. It's Arizona and Maryland are the two places that are available right now.
And there's lots of problems with that because, of course, all the police have to be equipped with special equipment so they can verify these IDs and so forth. It's not... Initially, it's going to be... Anyway, you're going to answer the next call.
All right.
Now I am getting coffee. Darn it, where did I put that list? Maybe it's in the car.
Shopping list.
Go home and get it.
The Chopin list.
My list. I should have just taken a picture of it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Physical paper.
Yes, exactly, John. You are so welcome. Joe, that's a good point. We just had on Tech News Weekly on Thursday, Ian Scher of CNET. He came on and said had told us all about lockdown mode. Lockdown mode is Apple is going to be rolling this out on iOS 16, iPadOS 16, macOS Ventura. I actually have it on my iPhone now because I'm testing the betas. A very, very, very locked down version of the system. When you turn it on, it makes a lot of stuff unavailable to you. And let me head into the Apple newsroom here so that we can get a little bit more information about that. Let's see. Oh, you're very kind, Joe. Thank you. And Ian Sure is great as well. So when lockdown mode clicks into place, most message attachment types that aren't images will actually be blocked, and link previews are disabled. We've heard before that link previews, actually, I know a thing or two about running this board now. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on. I was trying to turn down the music, but now I forgot which one it is. Farthest? Okay. There we go. So, don't worry, Professor Laura. I'm not turning you all the way down, just a little bit down. So, yes, the messages, because we've heard that those link previews are a big issue. That's how they've been able to get into devices in the past. So now that's kind of getting locked down. Wait, are we about to go back? Oh, he's back. So we're good. Web browsing as well. We'll talk more about it later. Nice.
I want to do the Carlton.
Do you know how to do the Carlton?
It's like, no, I haven't seen that in too long. It's like, but I'm going to knock something over.
I feel like it's the same era as the song. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, the Tech Guys, 8888. Ask Leo. All right, this time it's your call.
Mark
okay?
From San Diego on the line. Hello, Mark.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for taking this call. Well, what I got is kind of 180 degrees, what you normally do. I'm having a little Facebook problem.
The big.
Do you have a Facebook account, Micah? Because I do not.
I do, because I have an Oculus Quest, so.
Oh, by the way, good news.
Yes.
You no longer need a Facebook account.
Except a Meta account is basically just Facebook.
I know.
Anyway, Mark, so tell us what's going on with Facebook, other than, its normal problems.
The only thing I use Facebook for is my backpacking and hiking groups.
Oh, nice.
That's basically it. So I was trying to sell something on Marketplace, and which I've done numerous times before, and plus 2 other pages on Facebook. So I got the ad ready. I hit post, and within 15 seconds, I got a hit.
Wow.
Now, of course,
have you tried phishing? Because you should maybe get into that.
Well, it was a bot. It was not good.
Got it.
I know. With Craigslist, when that happens, you just delete it. You're done. But I wasn't ready for that on Facebook, so I exchanged a couple. She hit me up through Messenger, so I exchanged a couple messages. And then things just didn't seem right. So I deleted it and forgot it. Just said, nah, forget that. She just wasn't making any sense. So a couple hours later, I went to log on. Oh, you've been hacked. Oh, my God. Crap. So I changed my password.
Now, hang on, Mark. Before I want to be clear. You said you went to get back onto Facebook and something said you've been hacked. Where was it saying that you were hacked? What was telling you this?
When I went to Facebook. When I went to Facebook, it said you've been hacked. You need to change your password.
Okay.
So I did. So after I did that, I went on to check my ad. Okay. Well, as soon as I hit Marketplace, I got, you can't buy or sell on Facebook anymore.
Oh, no.
You didn't follow our community standards.
Oh, no.
I didn't do jack squat.
Yeah, Jack Diddley, right.
I didn't do nothing, anything.
All right.
And you get I get this page that says request review. That goes nowhere. Just Total waste of time.
I'm looking into it now. There are quite a few people who've been banned for some reason from Facebook Marketplace. And there are some suggestions that people have. It says that unless you have evidence proving that you didn't do anything wrong, it can be very difficult to be able to get yourself unbanned. It says Facebook basically can ban you for no reason at all. Other users may have flagged you. What may have happened here is that what you've got is sort of that may have been a bot, right, that at first was trying to get at you. But when they weren't able to get at you because you were smart enough to say, no, I think this is a bot, then their means of retribution was to go in and report you and make it so that you couldn't use Facebook Marketplace. I have the bad news, Mark, is that I'm not seeing many posts of folks who've been able to get unbanned from Facebook.
I'm still curious if it was Facebook. I don't believe Facebook will say you've been hacked.
I do want to go back to that.
I don't think that came from Facebook. I hate to tell you. I think that came from the same people running the bot.
Because did you get a message that said this? Was it pop up on the screen? What did it look like when it said that you were hacked?
It's just I clicked on my Facebook access point on my Explorer and on Safari. I use Safari, and it just it immediately showed up. I couldn't get anywhere past it.
Did you, when you were when you were communicating with the bot, did you at any point get a link or anything that you might have clicked on from the bot, message?
No. She said something stupid like, "Oh, can my uncle come and get it? But he can't handle cash."
Yeah. So they were trying to scam you, is what was going on there. Okay.
I was.
So it's probably unrelated, unless that was a cover for something else going on behind the scenes. I don't think Facebook ever says you've been hacked.
Well, I'm wondering if this is if the page that I'm seeing is just a cover from whoever might have hacked me.
When you saw the you've been hacked, did you re-log in? You did, because you had to change the password.
Exactly. I went out and it said click here, and I changed it.
You didn't click there, did you? Did you click there?
I think I clicked on that page.
So what's happened, I suspect, is that was a phishing attempt. When Facebook saw something fishy going on, as soon as they see something phishing going on, they say, okay, no more marketplace for you till we figure out what's going on here. They're protecting themselves because they see something fishy going on your account. So
I've sent numerous emails.
Yeah, they have 3.5 billion users. Unless they have 3.5 million support people, the likelihood of you getting anything is very. Would you create a new account? Would that be the end of the world to create a new account?
That's my only avenue, I think, at this point, is just create a new account, my same name, just a different email.
So that is one. There's one other thing that I would suggest. Of course, you should go into Facebook. You should go into Safari. You should go to facebook.com, and you should then log in. And once you're logged in, change your password in the normal way that you would. But I'm going to link in the show notes, techguylabs.com, a post on Reddit where a person was able to get themselves unbanned from Facebook Marketplace. So give this a try first. And then if you can't, then go ahead and create a new Facebook account. But I want you to change your password one more time just to protect yourself.
And please turn on two-factor authentication.
Absolutely.
I know that that's a pain, but that eliminates a lot of these kinds of messes.
And I can do that through Facebook?
Yeah.
Yep. I'll put a link for that as well. So you've got all the stuff you need to know. techguylabs.com is where that'll be. It'll be up later tonight, and you'll be able to find
Change the password first, and then in that process, you will see a box that says two-factor authentication. Turn that on for sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I will do that.
That everybody who's listening should turn on two-factor everywhere you can, because that really stymies these bad guys. They just can't take advantage of you at that point.
Okay.
I'm thinking, and again, it's a guess, but I'm just thinking there's something suspicious going on with that you've been hacked message. And Facebook might have detected, for instance, that you went in, but somebody from a different location, Belarus, went in at the same time and saw your password was changed. And they said, this is fishy. He's logging in from 2 different countries. We think, there's something going on here. They may have. I'm not saying that they don't have a way of saying you've been hacked. They may do that. Certainly
they do, but it's usually for nation state attacks.
It seems unlikely that. Yeah, we haven't all, but many people get those emails from Google saying there's a nation state hacker trying to break into your account. Be extra careful. But it seems highly unlikely that any site would say, "Oh, you've been hacked. Click this link to change your password." That to me sounds like a phishing attempt. Leo and Micah, your tech guys. GizWiz coming up. Yeah, I think that probably they'll reinstate his marketplace eventually once his account seems to be settled down.
Yep.
They're just trying to protect themselves from fraudsters.
Yeah.
Is this the way you like it?
Yes. That's the way I like it.
KC and the Sunshine Band heralding the appearance of this guy right here, Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, our gizmo wizard. We just call him the GizWiz for short. Hello, Dickie D.
Hey, Leah, how you doing?
I am doing well. How are you?
Good. How's that cheesecake diet working out for you?
Called out.
It's, well, I tell you what, it's delicious.
You're happy.
If I had a clam cake to go with my cheesecake, then I'd really be happy. It's just missing the clam cake.
Oh, my gosh.
What is on your agenda today, Mr. Gizmo Wizard?
Okay, so I have a new clock, all right? And we talked about this feature 10 to 12 years ago, the bed shaker attachment.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I found from a different company. This is for
people for whom a simple alarm is not enough.
Exactly. And you cannot wake up. Well, this solves a lot of problems. First of all, has very big digital readout, so that's good. Second of all, a feature you and I love, in the back, it has a display slider that can shut the display off.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Or you can have from 1 to 100%.
We don't want bright lights in the bedroom. No,
exactly.
Yeah.
Setting it is way easier than most clocks. At the top of the clock, there's a great minute button and a great hour button. So you hit time set, and then you hit hour till the whatever hour it is. Then you hit the minute to whatever the minute is, and you wait 4 seconds, and the clock freezes that. And the same for the alarm. If you get up in the middle of the night and you want a little bit of light, or you want light all night long, there's a little night light at the top.
I like that.
And you pick whatever color you want.
Okay, good. I was going to say, please tell me you can change the color, because that blue light's no good.
Any color you want.
Mike is a sleep expert, by the way. In fact, he's sleeping right now. Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. Hello.
He said he's sleeping right now?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, isn't it? Thank you.
Talk about multifunctioning, sleeping and doing a radio show. I think that sets a new record. Another feature in the back, they're slow, but you can charge 2 gadgets. It has 2 USB charging ports.
They should put this in motels and hotels all over the world.
Absolutely. And the best thing is the price. It's $24. And if you don't need the bed shaker device, it's $20.
So the bed shaker, you put it under your mattress?
Yeah, you know what? If you have a very thick mattress, put it under your pillow. Because that way. Oh, and it has one other feature I've never seen before. If the power goes out, you put batteries in it, and the power goes out, the clock face will be black. But of course, when the power comes on, it'll be on back with the regular time. But if the power is out, it will still ring the alarm. It'll be at the low setting.
Oh.
But I never knew a clock that could use the batteries, the backup battery, to
nice.
ring an alarm.
So no risk of not waking up. It does.
Yes.
Does it plug in too, or you have to use batteries?
Yes. It comes with a USB adapter. It comes with a little AC adapter plug, or plug it into. If you're near your computer and the computer's on all the time, just plug it into that.
How many clocks do you have, Dick?
Let's see.
Feels like you're a clock fan.
Yeah, I have 5 that I can see here.
Let me see.
No,
I was going to
say, Leo, you might have more.
Yeah, I just can see.
3. I only have 3, 4, 5 that I can see here.
Yeah, there you go. So we're tied. We're tied.
Oh, wait a
By
minute.
next
I've got a
week,
wristwatch, a phone, and every computer. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have all of those, too.
Yeah,
How many monitors are at your desk?
Oh, you don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6.
Quite a few.
Also depends on what you count as a monitor.
Yeah.
Well,
there are other displays.
Is this a monitor? This little TV set?
Well, I have that too. So if you're counting that, I'm counting. Oh, man. So now I have 8.
That's the little Atari game thing that you were talking about a few weeks ago. This is cool. What's it called?
It has a stupid name. It's called the Plee. PPLEE. Yeah. Typical Amazon.
Maybe they're trying to make
name.
it that vibration that you feel.
I love trying to get every keyword into the title. Alarm clock for bedroom, 7.5-inch large display LED digital clock with 7-color nightlight, USB phone charger, dimmer, battery backup, easy to set, loud beside bedside clock for heavy sleepers, adult, teen, kid, boy, girl.
Yes.
So Santa's list,
kid, boy, girl,
these days must just be really.
It's for adults, teens, kids, boys, and girls. From the Plee. PP Lee?
Maybe it is PP Lee.
The Plee, I guess.
PP Lee store?
Plee.
Oh, it stands for Paint Perfect Life with Easy and Eased Way.
Oh, well, of course. Well,
there you go. It's an acronym.
No, it should be PLU.
Shouldn't there be a W? Yeah. What's going on here?
And what is a paint? What is a Paint Perfect Life? Paint perfect.
Maybe you are painting your perfect life.
Paint perfect life.
That's what it is.
I'm thinking,
by having these.
Not an English speaker. I'm just thinking. Paint perfect life with eased and easy way. They have other clocks too, but not with the bed shaker.
No, not with the bed shaker and not with the little night light on top.
Some big ones.
They got big ones. They got little ones. Bed shaker alarm clock. And look, the husband is fast asleep, but the wife is so awake in that picture.
Yes, she's saying, why is the shaker
bed
under
shaking?
his pillow?
If you need a bed shaker to wake up, though, we should talk.
Tell him about the alarm clock that gets up and walks away from you.
What?
Oh, Clocky.
Clocky.
I remember the name. Clocky. It sits on your nightstand, and when the alarm sounds, like legs pop out and it starts shaking and it falls on the floor and keeps walking. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, it has wheels.
You have to find it.
Oh, wow.
It goes across the room and hides in a corner. You got to get out of bed.
There is some science to that
because it's going to annoy the heck out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you remember, Leo, when we did the helicopter clock? The helicopter clock,
that
the
falls on your
batteries
head
have screws in them so that you can't take the batteries out. No, it has a little propeller on top, and the alarm goes off, and it shoots the propeller into the air. And unless you find the propeller and stick it
back on
into the hole.
Got it. I found it.
into.
Tiang Tech Novelty Digital LED Alarm Clock Gadget
that's
Run
painting a
Away
perfect
Flying
life and
Rolling
easy
Helicopter
use.
Chopper. Oh, this is Sculpt Easy Life Easy Way. No, I'm just kidding. I see that now. And there's also one where you have to do math. Which
That's
is
right.
just a curse.
That's right.
The clock would still be ringing.
Exactly, all day.
There is a drunk email plugin on Gmail where it won't let you send the email unless you could do a complicated math problem. And they figure that way you're not going to be drunk.
I'll just never send
sending.
emails, though.
Yeah.
Don't make me do math.
Dick Bartolo.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's my name.
That's you. He's at GizWiz, GIZWIZ.biz. If you click the button that says the GizWiz visits the tech guy, you'll get links to this particular clock and everything else he's mentioned on the show. You can Also, click a button that says, what the heck is it? A chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine by identifying a close-up picture of a gizmo or a gadget. Dick's got Mads for the right answer and Mads for the cleverest wrong answer. And I think when you look at it, you're going to say, I know what that is. But maybe you don't. Dickie D also does a great podcast, the GizWiz podcast at gizwiz.tv, where it's full of crazy gadgets, the whole show.
Yeah.
Mr. D. Bartolo, have a wonderful week. Did you enjoy the fireworks on the East River this year?
I watched them on television. It was way easier and cheaper.
It was so cool. Lisa and I said, we're going to New York next 4th of July. That was the nicest fireworks display ever.
You know, and I went with my binoculars. I still could not see the Petaluma laser show.
No. Nobody could.
Drat.
Thank you, Dickie D. Thank you, Micah
buddy,
Sargent. Thanks to all of you. We'll see you next time. Leo Laporte, Micah Sargent, your tech guys. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.